Ladies love the skin.
Ow.
Bring it a little bit closer. The good skin, that is. That's why having a proper skincare routine is very important, and you need to feel Lateej. The process is so easy, just 4 steps. You got your daily face wash. That's going to clean your face up nice and right. You got your exfoliator scrub. That's going to open up your pores. You got your AM moisturizer with the SPM 20, which is going to protect you from the sun. You also got your PM moisturizer, which is going to make sure your skin is protected throughout the night. Tej has tons of reviews from dedicated customers across the world. I know I said a lot, but it's okay, because guess what? It comes with an instruction card to explain to you in detail what to do morning and night. And because Tej is a sponsor, they're offering my family 30% off along with a free gift. Just click that link that's in the description and feel the Tej. Maintaining your beard isn't just style, it's self-respect. A well-grown beard boosts confidence and leaves a lasting impression. Elevate your look. Embrace the importance of beard care today.
So today we are talking about the obsession with interracial dating. Is there an obsession with interracial dating? Do y'all think it's an obsession with interracial dating? I do.
I wouldn't know. I don't pay attention like that, but we can talk about it, I guess.
Okay. All right. So, but before we do, I do have a post. You want to read it for me, Mistaken?
All right. This is a post from Lil Duval. DC got the same amount of fine women as Atlanta. Only difference is they really got money and a career.
So I thought this was especially interesting because I know a lot of men say career don't matter. And I thought it was interesting that Lil Duval mentioned career. It seems to matter. What are you guys' opinion on that?
I think men. It depends on the type of man you're dealing with. Any man that you are dealing with that has a lot don't want a bored wife. Bored wives lead to trouble. So he would probably want you to have something that you do, some sort of career. So I think that's really what Lil Duval was talking about. Some men want people at home all the time, and I wouldn't connect that to control issues. It's just it just depends on how the man is raised. I don't think if a man comes on here and says he doesn't care about careers, it doesn't bother me. If a man comes on here and says he prefers a woman with careers, it doesn't bother me. I think that is all about a choice and their preference.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I think when men say that, there's more so gauging what type of woman this is. Is this a woman that has big goals, or is this a woman that's doing something just to get by? Your choice of word that says a lot about your not only your character, but also what it is that you're into. Is this woman a nurse? Then I can only assume that she's a caring, nurturing woman. Compared to, is this woman a lawyer? She may be up for controversy and wanting to fight and putting her foot down, and what I'm saying, giving you a run for your money, or a challenge rather. So I think that's more so what men mean by well, like one country said, uh it depends on what type of man that is and how he was raised, so.
Mistaken?
I would say that I kind of agree with Cookie. I think it really depends on the man that it depends on the man. But I think for me, I think the ideal, more like in a general term, is I don't think most men, well, I'm gonna say Black men, because usually we are talking about Black relationships. Black men have an issue with having an educated woman. From what I'm hearing, most of the issue is the mindset that they feel comes along with educated women, an independent mindset, as opposed to a dependency mindset. So I think that is where, from what I hear, most of the issues around educated women are made.
AP.
So this, what we really care about, right? It depends on the type of career. If you say you're, for example, an influencer, in most cases we're gonna pass. We're gonna smash and then we're gonna pass on that, right? That's just typically how we move. Um, we want you to be able to sustain yourself as an adult. That's really what we want. We don't necessarily. I don't want to say care, but we don't really give. We don't really care what the career is as long as it makes sense and you can sustain yourself. Then when we come in, combine the resources and we grow from there. So do we care about how much money you make? Not necessarily, but we do kind of care on the trajectory of your life.
Ink.
Shit. I care about what you do. I do. I mean, I'm probably with an educated woman because I want that woman's going to teach our kids. So I don't want no idiot as a wife. That's, yeah, I can't hold a conversation with an idiot. So not for long anyway. Especially be married to one. I couldn't imagine. So the hell with that. I don't want no woman who's I don't think no man wants a woman who's a prostitute, even a former prostitute, stripper. None of that shit. That shit reflects on me. You got my last name and that's what you are? Hell no. Why would I want a woman like that? And I know what it comes with. So, no, I don't want, yeah, her career is going to determine on whether I'm going to get with her or not. It is. In my early 20s, I mean, probably wouldn't care. More likely I wouldn't try to think about marriage anyway. I'm thinking about just getting some ass. So I didn't give a damn what you was doing. You probably could have been a goddamn stripper for all I care then. Now, you get in your 30s, you're like, oh shit, you don't want that type of activity, that type of stigma in your life. Saying, oh man, your wife was a stripper, man, when she was, going through college. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't know no man would, but there are some out there. Just no man in my circle would deal with some shit like that. So yeah, I think it really does depend on the career. We say it don't until they doing some shit we don't approve of. Then we like, oh fuck, hell no.
Hank, just a question. What careers aside from, I don't call stripping a career. I don't necessarily call influencing a career, but what careers are no goes for you aside from those obvious ones?
I wouldn't want a lawyer. I wouldn't want a doctor. She can't work at a goddamn Hooters, somewhere like that.
See, when I think of career, I don't think of restaurant jobs necessarily because I consider those jobs. When I think of career, I do think of things like lawyers and doctors. Why wouldn't you want your wife to be in that type of field?
I was going to ask that. I get lawyer because I got my child's father's a lawyer, and I love him to death. But the debating all the time, I'll never win. But the doctor, I'm confused. Like, can you elaborate the doctor?
Your time, you're not gonna have time for our kids, our family. The lawyer, same thing. Your career can affect our family like that. If you're constantly gone, and I need for you to raise the kids, that's gonna be a problem. For me, I know you said restaurant is not a career. AP, some people make a career out of the restaurant industry. They do. You know, sometimes they end up turning into bar owners or restaurant owners. I mean, that's
that's very different though. Like to me, like now we're talking about general managing all the way to owning. Like that, your career is no longer necessarily the restaurant or the bar. Your career is in the paperwork. And I'm gonna tell you, as a former front of the house manager for a restaurant, that that same amount of time, bro, that you were talking about with doctors and lawyers, they have to put in that same exact amount of time.
that's
When
why I
we're
said I
talking
wouldn't deal with.
careers.
That's why I said I wouldn't deal with them. That's
Yeah,
why I
you
said
still
that.
on his do not.
I'm not. I
Oh, I
wouldn't
see.
deal with.
Okay. You're right. I
So
misunderstood.
those are the type of individual women that I wouldn't have no relationship or look to marry, anything like that. Now, I will fuck you. I'll fuck a lawyer. I'll fuck a doctor. But I'm not going to marry you. I'm not, because I know your time is going to be limited and it's going to be spread thin to the point where I'm not getting my needs met. Our kids are not getting their needs met. And you're just worried about your career. Okay, cool. I'm not the man for you. AP will take you. I will not.
I would have to say something about the doctors though. I know doctors who work 3 days out of the week. They're primary care. They're not like surgeons or on call. They're like primary care. They only have like certain hours. I think the flexibility in being a doctor is really great now. It's not like it used to be. You also know some dermatologists that go in once a week and make great money just going in once a week. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So don't knock a doctor if you know. Now she's one of those people who like is an overachiever. That's different. But you have some people who have cut back on those long hours, even doctors. So
there's different types of attorneys as well. I need y'all to understand that.
very true.
You can't
But
just
that
throw. First
mentality,
of all,
though.
a lawyer and an attorney aren't the same thing. First of all, lawyers
They are.
haven't
You're
passed
right.
the bar yet. Attorneys
Yeah.
have.
Correct.
Attorneys can be in different roles. If you don't want like a prosecution attorney or somebody that's trying to become a judge or a defense attorney, I can definitely understand it because they stay in court. But the court they can only work so long with the government. If they're researching at home, y'all can limit that. But say you get with a corporate attorney, right? This person is which is probably going to be my future, and like seriously. And like we're working with contracts and getting paid percentages that don't necessarily take up as much time, usually work from home. So I just wanted to throw that out there for the men in the chat, because the men on the panel usually have already made their minds up and I don't do arguing. But for the men in the chat, there are different kinds of attorneys. First of all, get with an attorney, not a lawyer. The attorneys make more money. If y'all don't care about the money, just get with the attorney. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but still, your time is not going to be there. Even if you're working from home, you're going to be working.
You can manage what I'm telling you is there's different types of attorneys where you can choose what contract you want to go. If you're a contract oral attorney and you know that this contract gonna take up this much time, or you gotta be in Fiji, or you gotta be there, that's where you get to choose. So
now you're gonna be out of the state, out of the country.
No, what I'm saying is you pick and choose if you find the right attorney. And the type of attorney that you get with. That's why I don't argue on the internet, Hink. Up above me. If you get with the right attorney, you will have time. She will have time for you. So don't listen to Hink. Don't cancel out all attorneys, because some attorneys I know go have a better life than me, and I'm a teacher and a coach.
Yeah,
and that's why them motherfuckers are lonely as hell.
So
they lonely. Fuck that shit. Hell
listen,
no.
So I get what she's saying, but even so that's what my child's father is, a corporate attorney, but he's a corporate attorney for an investment firm, and it does take up a great deal of his time, even though he's home. However, I see what you're saying. You can choose a company, because some people are contracted out. You choose your time. Some people work for themselves. So any career that you get into, especially if it's one of those ones like being an attorney, or you can contract the work out, you can set your own hours, especially when you have a certification that is needed. so to speak. So I see what she's saying. Not all attorneys are the same. They don't all run the same. You have people who work with kids, attorneys that work with kids. You have attorneys who work with certain disciplines that are very nurturing, so to speak, not necessarily in the courtroom, debating with other people. So I get what she's saying.
For a short period of time, I had dated a young lady that was an attorney. I don't remember what type of attorney she was. I want to say it was in like business or something like that, contract law. But for the most part, I mean, she did work crazy hours sometimes, but at the time I was working a lot too as an entrepreneur. So it kind of worked out. The thing that was the problem in that relationship was she just wanted to debate about everything. Like it was never like a just us having a conversation or me saying something. Like it always had to be some type of challenge to it. And I'm not one of them type of guys. So that didn't work out too long. But aside from that, like her work for me, just with me being in the career that I'm in, it didn't really cause too much of an issue. So I think it depends on the guy and the needs and the desires that's there.
May I ask the man questions, Miss Shan? What do y'all consider debating? Do y'all consider asking questions, like being a debater, or being like asking for more information? Is that what we talking about here?
It wasn't
Or
even
just being condescending, like
it wasn't even necessarily like looking for more information. It was more so like
arguing opinions.
It was just challenging. It just felt like everything was a challenge.
Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry. I don't know why my child is calling me, knowing I have a show at the same time every
Okay.
Sunday.
What just happened?
She at work. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. I was just curious. Hank,
Oh
what
no,
about
I
you?
mean it's.
What do you consider?
Go ahead.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you consider debating? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what.
Oh, so
y'all consider
I
debating.
think that there's a time and a place for that. Me personally, I love conversation. I love debating. Challenging each other's ideas and perspectives to further grow in that area. But some things I feel like is not worth a debate. What we eating or where we going, something like that. Something that's simple that's not even worth, the back and forth.
No,
See, I love good dialogue. I absolutely love it because I've learned to recognize that my opinion is not the only opinion, and my opinion is not the only opinion that matters.
Mhm.
So I love great dialogue. I love a female who asks questions. However, what I don't particularly enjoy, and I haven't actually seen a lot of this, if I'm going to be honest, personally, is challenging everything. Not everything needs to be a challenge. I can't see your name because I'm using my phone today, but like you said, you want to go out to eat, you choose a place, and then it turns into a 20-minute conversation. Does it need to do that? No. But again, I personally haven't run into much of that, and I'm not fighting with you anymore either.
I don't think that that's normal. I think that the biggest thing is when you're with, because I have had an attorney in my life for a good bit of my life. I think that the problem is when you do have a conversation and it's like a going back and forth, it's like you're never gonna win the conversation. It's like I just might as well just be quiet, because this is like their major, like this is what they do for a living, right? It's just like I fold.
Yeah, but
Okay,
it wasn't even like I was trying to win the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it wasn't even a conversation for me to even attempt to win. it was just me, making a view of, maybe we shouldn't go over. We're not going to go to this restaurant because service is terrible, whatever. And well, blah 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 blah, and because she likes the restaurant, some shit like that. So it was just a lot of just unnecessariness. I mean, aside from that, she was an amazing woman, successful, beautiful. But I'm just not into I'm not into that shit.
So I guess the question was,
go ahead, Ink. Go ahead, Ink.
Cookie Head was debating. Look, you just gotta know how to turn that shit off. A lot of ladies don't know how to turn that shit off. They want to keep going and until they fucking curb stomp your ass. I mean, they feel like they dominated you. That shit gets old. Who wants to do that shit all the goddamn time?
Oh yeah.
Who wants to do that? I don't think most men do want to do that. You just gotta know when. Okay, it's done. It seems like it's not going anywhere. I think the conversation became circular and stale. Let's move on.
Do you think that's so? I don't necessarily associate that with a career, because you can have people who don't have careers; they just have jobs, and they're argumentative people. They just like to argue for whatever reason. They're disagreeable people,
Probably because they want to be lawyers too, or attorneys too, and so they
want to be.
Yeah.
Or they're social media people. Hey guys, happy Sunday.
Hi, because social media people, right?
Yeah.
They're the same way.
Yeah, because
go ahead, ladies. You can go ahead.
I was literally, I've been listening to the conversation for a little bit, but like I wasn't sure what you guys were speaking to initially. I feel like Country Cookie was talking about when having like dating a certain specified or specialized attorney and their time. Was that what you were speaking to earlier?
So I'm gonna put it up for you. Okay, so basically Duval made this was a statement that Duval made on his platform. And so we hear often that men say women's careers don't make a difference, but because of this statement, I would assume that is something that they like in women, right? They do like a woman to have a career. They like a woman to have her stuff together. So we were just bringing that up, and it just went into, well, which women don't you like? Like, which careers don't you like? So.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's a matter of just people. I think it's. So on one hand, a person's career can tell you a lot about the person, because it's what they're passionate about. It's what they do most of the time, right? But I do think that if their career is a big part of who they are, then it's necessary for you to understand like what happens, understand like the pressures that career might put on them and whatever have you. And I do think that it's also necessary for that person to be self-aware enough to be able to maintain a certain balance to, like Hank said, turn that shit off. Like, I know for me, I've been working in corporate America for damn near 20 years. And before I got into the sect that I'm in now, I definitely had to be way more aggressive, way more assertive. I was go, go, go. Like, and it was almost like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, since we're in this meme world, have you ever seen the meme where it's like your business is on the line, but your personal life is on hold? And it's like, as a woman, you can't necessarily balance the two sometimes, because sometimes you got to be so gung-ho in your career and achieving certain goals or whatever.
You bring it home.
Like, you bring it home sometimes, right? And even if you're not in a relationship, when you do start to date, it's kind of like you're dating from this very assertive, like this thing, you're taking the same approach to relationships and dating as you do with your career. So it kind of, like, unless the man is objective enough and balanced, sometimes that's in those spaces, it might take a man that's balanced enough to look at the woman and be like, look at this woman, like, she's a powerhouse, but she just needs to relax. And some guys can be okay with that, and others can be like, yeah, no, I don't want to deal with that shit, like, you got too much going on. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of finding somebody that's compatible with your personality, that's willing to give you grace, because ain't nobody going to show up perfect, that's willing to be adaptable, that's willing to see you as a human being, that's willing to relate to you where you are, and not judge you for it. So That's my take on that.
Yeah, because right now I'm a coach. If you in the gym doing your squats wrong or eating bad food, I'm gonna tell you.
As you should.
Because that's what you're passionate about, right? So that's the value that you bring to a relationship. And if that person is working out, you working out, and it's like, shit, like, yeah, show me how to do it right. Help me to be better. And if in my area expertise, like I'm A1 anything admin, A1 anything operational, A1 anything creative, right? Within that space, pardon me, y'all, my dryer just went off. In that space, um, it's like anything that I could offer up, I'm probably gonna do so unless like I'm still getting to know you and I don't necessarily want to overstep and over like, it like get involved. But like, yeah, like that's what it is. So I think people spend too much time focusing on what they don't like about people. Move the hell around. Move around. You don't like me because I'm an attorney and you can't understand that you might need to tell me to turn it down in a nice way. Because one of my closest friends is an attorney. She owns her own practice and she's very self-aware. And I have to give her props for this. And I'm shouting her out for this because we have these conversations. And it's like there are times when she's go, 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 and she's very intense. You know what I mean? She owns her practice. She pays people and she runs an immigration law practice. You know what I mean? It's very stressful. So she does bring it home sometimes. You know what I mean? I know her and her dude was actually my best friend. So like I know them and I see her and I see like interactions and I know that because of that I see that it's possible. Cause she's so intense and superwoman when it comes to like her stuff and she's a badass attorney, mind you. But when it comes to her man, oh baby, she is putty in her hands. Like he can do no wrong. And when they deal with their stuff, she has her emotional stuff. Yeah, but she turns it off. And what he says goes, even when he's wrong sometimes. So it's like it's possible.
I got into it one time with a guy because I was trying to explain the difference to him between being fine as a female and being fit. And that every woman that's posting gym videos is not fit.
Nope.
She might be fine,
Right.
but she's not fit. And couldn't grasp that concept. So I let it go. But he wanted to argue with me about it. And I'm like, I'm not hating. I'm telling you that there's a difference between being fine and fit. And you can see it in the cuts. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to just leave it alone. But yeah, you got to know when to just let it go.
No, that's a fact. Cause I used to be athletic and I know I'm fine, but I sure as hell ain't fit. I'm getting back there though. And I was telling them that like I was talking to them about that too because it's like some people would think that like some guys be working out to be fine, not fit. And a lot of people would think that since you're fit, you're healthy. Nah, it's a lot of people that go to the gym but don't go to the doctor. So I mean, nuance there. All of that.
All right, you guys, let's read these they're not super chats, but mistaken.
Juicy Workshaw, $2.99 super sticker. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Member Marvin Crutchfield became a YouTube member.
Thank you. All right, so you guys, so the topic is, what is the obsession with interracial dating? Why do you think that there is so maybe not an obsession, but an increase on interracial dating, in your opinion?
I think it's just one further thing for people to complain and be bitter about.
What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate?
I don't see the problem with it. I mean, if that's what you into, that's what you into. It's probably 7 billion people on this planet. If you're in Europe, you just may end up bagging you a snow bunny and not a black chick.
Why they gotta be snow bunnies? Why they just can't stay?
I mean, from a male's perspective, that's what we call them. If it's a white girl, she a snow bunny. I'm sure white men have whatever term that they use for black women. But I think that is just one of those things of you love who you love. If you're super into the racial narrative, then I get that too. You want to keep the bloodline pure. Hey, I'm all for it. Go for it. But I don't think that is that big of an issue. To really feed into as much as people do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say this. I don't think anyone gives a damn until someone goes trying to berate and diminish and disrespect and talk down on their own or another group of people because they've made the decision to date outside of their race or outside of their ethnicity, right? Um, that's pretty much what I have to say about it because I love seeing happy people. So for me, I don't necessarily understand that hang up. When you see a happy couple and they're genuinely in love and you're a happy person and you got love in your heart, you just want to see people happy. So you're not happy with us, no problem, but don't try to shit on us in the process as black women. I'm speaking for black women, right? Because if you don't want us, we don't want you neither. So bye. But
That's part of the problem, though. What you just said was, if you don't want us, I would I would argue that it's a minority of black men that date outside for the just because they don't want to date a black woman. Like that's insane to me. I think that it's about who you come across, how they treat you, how you treat them. Do y'all mesh? Does everything work out? I don't think it's a most of the time a situation where it's I ain't dating no black. I'm not dating a black chick because them heifers is loud and obnoxious or whatever the hell is said. I think that it's mm, I'd like to think that most black men don't see it that way. So when you say it that way, it's like, and I don't think that that's the majority of people who date outside their race.
That's
I
okay,
just
not
think
what
they
we're
found somebody
hearing,
that
though.
made them happy.
I was
That's not.
speaking to those guys. I was speaking about those guys, right? And sorry, Kaji, because he jumped in
No,
while
it's
I was
okay.
speaking. But yeah, I was speaking to those guys. Like I was speaking about those men that do that. And unfortunately, there are those men that do that. Just like
Yeah.
I've heard of women that do that. Like,
Well,
okay, so like I've legitimately like even within the last 48 hours, I've heard a married man and he's unapologetic about it. He boasts about his beautiful, by the way, she's a beautiful woman, Caribbean wife, and shits on American black women every chance he gets, and says he would never date one. You know what I mean? And it's just like it's okay. We understand. You know what I mean? And everyone to each his own. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm speaking about. Like you don't need to. And
I can agree with you on that.
you get what I'm saying? I'm an
Yeah.
American. I'm a Caribbean American woman, right? But like I felt a way. I'm like, damn, I'm just like, damn, you don't have to talk bad about them. And me, if I was his daughter, I would feel some type of way. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, have fun, be happy. But those men definitely exist, DAP. They do.
For me, it's like,
Yeah.
who you trying to
Go ahead.
convince? Like, who are you trying to convince at this point? Why are you making excuses? Like, why are you dragging us into this? That's what I think when I hear it, because it's definitely been heard. Like, I've heard it more since I started doing panels than I've ever heard in my life. Like, I didn't even know that much hate towards black women existed until I started doing panels. So that's why I have limited my YouTube time. Um, Luckily, I've been on panels where there are more intelligent people now, but to drag anybody as an excuse for something that you're doing, that's just like robbing a bank and then trying to blame the bank because they didn't give you a loan, or because I'm going to go to Chase because and rob them because my credit union wouldn't give me a loan. I mean, that's just, I mean, like, it's stupid. Like, it
let's
doesn't make
let's
sense.
let's keep it a buck though. That's happening on both sides. It's a lot of men hating women and a lot of women hating men.
Oh,
So,
we agreed that it was both ways.
oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah, like, but who are you still trying to convince? Whether it's sis or my boy,
right,
however I'm talking to, who
right.
are you trying to convince why you're dating this person? Are you having questions about why you're dating this person? Because why are you dragging other people into you? Well, the reason nobody cares is what I guess I'm the point I'm trying to get around to.
Yeah.
Why you're dating
Well,
this
no, they
person?
just hurt. That's all it is.
Mhm.
If you're doing that on either side, whatever the case may be, whatever the topic is, you hurt. And I think that we need to just call that shit out. Like, bro, you hurt. You know what I'm saying? Shorty, you hurt. Instead of just feeding into it blindly. Cause by doing that, you further create a bigger monster that we can't handle at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just running rampant. So it's just calling the shit out as it is. You hurt. Suck it up. It's part of life. You don't want to date no more. Go get you some cats. Live up in a tree house or some shit, and you know what I'm saying. Wealth away, or suck it up. Find somebody that you love, that loves you, and fucking spend the rest of your life with them. It's that simple.
Right. I have a half white nephew, right? The high school I went to was nothing but white teenagers. Um that's what I was surrounded by. But I always seeked out my brothers at other schools. That was my preference. But even when I was like, when they were, why won't you date me, Z? Um, it was I'd never even vice versa be like, oh, white boys, this and that. I only choose. It was never a reason. I just that was my preference. You know what I mean? That's why. I don't have to talk bad about white dudes in high school because I seeked out black men at other high schools to date. So that there's so many factors in that. Like, I guess there's no obsession with it until there's attention drawn to it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right.
Whether it be negative or positive, and I just don't think that's a that should be a big focus, because, like, who cares? How is that bothering you? You know what I mean? That, like, what L did you take because this person is with somebody that's
Right,
not you? You know what I mean? Other than the fact that you mad.
right.
Like, I don't get it.
Mistaken, and then if they have something
Okay.
to say. Yes.
I was just going to say that I think it all boils down to intent and perception. So I think when most people have issues with it is if kind of like what Lady Margaret and Cookie was saying, if the intent behind it is at the exclusion of others because you see in your mind like a deficit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I can't because of this or whatever. So I think that's where most people, whether it's men or women, that choose to date, interracially, is putting down the race, that you're from, in order to do that. Right. So I think that's where most people have issues. And then I also think the other thing is about the perception, that becomes an issue too. Kind of like how Kanye was saying, in that song, something, then you do all of that and then he leave you for a white girl. So I think the perception part also plays a role in, I'll say mainly Black women, only because there are higher rates of Black men that are dating, outside of their race, is when compared to Black women, is that the social status sometimes that comes along with having access to white women or another woman that is outside of your race. So if that is, I guess, a factor in why you're choosing the other person, I think also becomes an issue, because from the outside looking in, from I guess the Black woman, is that, oh, now he done ran through all of these Black women, and now as soon as he make it, now we ain't good enough. You know what I'm saying? So I think that also plays a part in why the perception of Black men dating outside their race has an issue for Black women.
And we're going to go back to that in a second. So Hink, you go, because that's kind of what one of our topics is about. But go ahead, Hink. But that's going to be a little bit later. But go ahead, Hink.
Well, the problem is, come April, we're going to have an NFL draft. Come June, we're going to have an NBA draft. And y'all sisters, y'all need to stop this shit. Y'all be the most hating motherfuckers, be hating on them brothers be getting a white woman. Y'all be the first one to criticize them, look at them crazy. 10-carat crazy if they had a white woman. Y'all couldn't handle us. That's the reason why you had to go get you a white girl, because you couldn't handle us. Well, first of all, a man shouldn't have to handle your crazy ass anyway. And if he has to, he need to put your ass behind some padded walls. This shit's crazy, man. Y'all know y'all don't like that shit. Y'all know y'all don't like that shit. Y'all dislike it more than the brothers seeing y'all with a white man. We don't give a shit. More than likely, we think y'all crazy anyway, because y'all got that white boy, because he don't want to put up with your crazy ass. That's what we thinking. I don't care that he took you. There's plenty of you heifers out there. What I'm gonna fight for you for? And a Black man of a certain status could get any race of woman. Black women can't say that. They can have a certain status and can't get every race of man. They can't do it. So to sit there and say, man, oh well, we don't. Y'all care. Y'all care. Y'all will look at them crazy. You see an interracial couple, and look, I went out for Valentine's Day, me and my lady, and this interracial couple was sitting right there. But then you had these 5 big ass heifers sitting at a table together, mad motherfucker, because they together. They ain't got no man with them. They together by themselves. But they see this Black man with this beautiful tall white woman. They looking at a 10-carat crazy. That's a small percentage of a lot of these Black sisters. That's how they act. That's how they look at them. They can't say. Look at the passport bros. We just talked about a white women. What about other nationality races of women? You had a lot of sisters get mad at these passport bros. Say it's a problem. You got to go over there because you can't get no women over here. Why we got to go do that? Why is it about that? Why does he want to love who he loves? Doesn't matter the race, or doesn't matter the color, the religion, whatever. If that's what he wants, that's what he wants. But y'all look down upon that. Y'all had to go out of the country to get a woman because y'all couldn't get one here. Y'all didn't know how to deal them. Y'all didn't know how to handle them. You didn't know how to talk to them. You didn't know how to have a relationship with them. No, it's not the case. Maybe they just didn't find what they want to hear, so they felt like they need to go elsewhere. Look, I used to look down upon them brothers. Now I don't even give a shit. I don't blame them. If they make you happy, go get them.
My issue with them is they have a tendency to use the platform that we don't care. I don't care where they go. Like I told you, I grew up in an all-white neighborhood, so I don't really care. But what gets me is like, why are you dragging me into your passport activities, bro? Like just go. Like, but if you come for me, I'm coming for you. That's just how that works.
I think that.
So let me say something real fast. Give me 2 seconds, because I have an opinion on this as well. So I agree with what you're saying, Cookie. Usually we probably wouldn't even know what passport bros was if it wasn't a come for you first, And I wanted to, I remember I had, and it was a Chic critique, so you weren't there, Heen. I said I was going to invite a white guy up who he loves Black women. And the chat came from it. You bring that white man on this show, we're canceled. I mean, the entire chat. Some of them may be in the chat today. And because of that, I did not invite him on this show because I took that in consideration. I know who my audience is, and they didn't feel comfortable with this. So I said, "Hey, Didi, were you there when that happened?"
I was there.
And
they did. I was still of the opinion, bring him up.
So
bring him up. F him.
So to say that men don't care, they do care. But I do want to say something.
Hold on,
Women,
Sharon. It wasn't just the men, though. It wasn't just the men.
so
It like it was,
Most of them were men, because she was saying she was going to
but
ban
it
white men.
it wasn't just the men,
Agreed.
though.
I agree.
So my point is this. So when women, so if I see a guy on the street and I see him with somebody of another color, nobody cares. I think we all agree that most people don't even see half the men who are alive. We already came to that agreement. The problem is when it's a man that you desire, that you care about. Okay, and it's athletes are desirable men to people, right? And so then the next layer is, well, would this woman be with you if you were not an athlete? So what I've seen is the number of men in that situation, those women go after those men. So my question would be, well, where were they in the process of the making of that man? Does that make sense? Because even when you get with her, what does she do for you then? Because most men who do more than just off the court, who are successful, like by far off the court or off the field, are married to Black women. You very rarely see that man being extra successful, meaning off the court, off the field, when he's with another race of a woman. And I did that research. It's a small few, but most of the time, and there are a lot of athletes with white women. So the fact of the matter is, when you saw that man who did above and beyond, you talk about the Magic Johnsons or the people who will go above and beyond, they're not with white women.
So can I say something about that real quick? Because I am really of the, I don't care, God's still working on me. Go ahead, get your reparations, Black man. Like, if you're dealing with somebody because you love them, great. If you're dealing with a white woman because she's better off than you, even better.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be with the Black woman and deal with Black women struggles or whatever, again, it is okay, right? But
that's true.
It's just like, and there are both Black men and Black women alike that are equally as bitter, right? And again, if they don't want you, praise God, they're not dating you. So why are you so pressed? Like, don't be so, stop. People too bothered about other people's lives. And it's like, what they eat don't make you shit. If they have sex, you're not having a baby. So it's like, you're not paying for their, like, it just doesn't make sense, right? And then on the other side of that, it's kind of like I can understand, like, if a woman were to look at a guy and be like, okay, for example, the jocks, because it's like, yeah, they might be desirable men.
They not all that.
Right.
The personality, their character. Yeah. It's like,
and that's why a lot of them date outside of their race. You know what I'm saying? Because even though they job,
that statement,
they lame as
that
hell.
statement,
This rhetoric right here is exactly what I'm talking about.
that statement.
Right here is what I'm talking about.
That's it. That's it. It's right there.
Can I finish?
Okay, so wait a minute.
Let's
allow Lady T to finish her spiel, and then we'll go to Wiz and Pink, and nobody else, and then we'll go to YouTube in that order. Okay.
Right. Because that's literally what it is. Like, the grass is not always greener. Like, people look at it and be like, it's almost like they're resentful because they maybe in their minds feel like they're having a better time with the selection that they made for themselves. And why are you mad at that? Like, let them go be happy over there. Like, if you're dating jocks or not, you jocks, celebrities, like, it's really what people value, and people just gotta let shit go for real. So I'm gonna leave that there.
Okay, so go ahead. What was the order? Wiz and then Hink.
Oh yeah, so I mean, what we always see, and in many cases, especially if you're around celebrities or athletes, most of them are lame as hell. You know what I'm saying? And they no longer deal with black women because black women know that they lames, probably will call them a lame, treat them like a lame. You know what I'm saying? So they go and get them a white woman that like lames. You know what I'm saying? So it works for them. So it's kind of like,
While it's your turn, I want you to define lame also, because this language that you're using is very similar to what we just heard.
so now what I mean by lame, and of course that's subjective, right? But what we just saw and what I'm using in this example, AP, is what they just did. You know what I'm saying? Before I said it, the type of man that they would, One Country Cookie, you know what I'm saying, was like, but they really not all that. You know what I'm saying? Basically saying that he a lame. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and that's
No,
kind
I
of the
don't think that means
narrative.
you're lame. I don't think that means you're lame.
That-
Lame is well, lame. That's not what. I don't think that means you're lame. It just means that they're,
all they are is just they don't have a personality. All that they can do is play ball or whatever the case may be.
Lame is
That's
ignorant and dishonorable. That's what lame is. Ignorant and dishonorable. Ignorant, childish, and dishonorable.
no. We're not gonna do that. We when somebody says the word that somebody is a lame, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, she did say lame. I thought you were bringing that word and I missed it. She said she didn't say lame.
No, she didn't say lame. I'm talking about
You said
the
lame.
definition. I'm talking about the definition that Miss Lady T was
Yeah,
using.
because you guys are talking about lame, and the AP asked what lame is. So I'm giving, in my opinion, what lame is. Lame.
Yeah,
in my
I don't think he asked for your opinion. I think he wanted Wiz's opinion of it.
But guess what, Hank? But guess what? Thank you.
You're gonna give it anyway. I already know.
Exactly.
Y'all
So
get thrown
this-
on
a lame. So this I got a perfect example. So I just seen this clip recently where this chick was on there saying how this guy took her out on a date. You know, as soon as she opens the door, dude standing there with some flowers, she was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, what you on? Type of deal, whatever. So they go to the car. He opened the door for her. You know what I'm saying? Let her in, just showing chivalry. She gets in the car. She says that she texts her homegirl, like, girl, this nigga weird. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like she's weird. If you ask me, she's the lame in the situation.
Of course. So my point is that this man, doing what men should be doing, thought that he was a lame. You know what I'm saying? She said it in the text, and she later goes on to apologize to the guy, like, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry, because she didn't fuck with him afterwards. So it's subjective, right? So if the chick is not feeling the guy, you know what I'm saying, he doesn't have personality or whatever, 9 out of 10 she feels that he's a lame. You know what I'm saying? And again, most athletes, some of them are awkward, some of them weird as hell. If you really around a lot of athletes and celebrities, you know what I'm saying, some of them awkward, weird as hell, and some people would consider them to be a lame. So aside from them having the money, they're not dateable. You know what I'm saying? So they go and date outside of their race because they wouldn't be considered a lame, or they'll have a better chance at women being submissive, as they always argue about, and not, putting up a fight or whatever because she knows that he's the lame.
So I don't know what other people consider. So I said that about, and I'm not saying, because I know some great athletes who will be great husbands, right? They're just not ready for it. But I think that what I see, especially with the new generation, is some of them are a little sloppy. So to speak, like, you can be a great athlete and you can be great at your job, but that doesn't necessarily transfer in you being a great husband or a great father, right? Just because you have a great job doesn't mean that you're a great man or you have great character, or and a lot of times some of the guys, not all of them, because you know the NFL is a big league. A lot of the ones that we see just make poor choices. And when you're talking about poor choice making and you transfer that into carrying on a household, that's what I'm saying about. I don't know about the lame part, you know, but I do know that a lot of them don't, a lot of the ones I've seen, because a lot of them do make great decisions, don't make great decisions. And so for me, they wouldn't be able to hit my household the way I would like it to be, you know. Not the same thing wrong with them. I'm just saying. But go ahead. Who did I just
Yeah,
listen
we
to?
need a song. Look,
Go
there's a
ahead.
reason why more of these, if you notice, look at the NBA, more of these kids are players are biracial. That's the reason
They
why
are.
they're more biracial, because they marrying and they having kids and they get with these white women.
Mhm.
Look at the league. I bet you half of them are biracial now.
Look right
Half
here.
of
Here you go right here, Hank.
them. Come on, man.
The
Come on, man.
triple.
Y'all, man. Come on, man. You got two generations, daddy now and son. Come on, man.
The kids don't even look black no more. They just
Look, there's a reason why it is, man. And to say we just seen an example with the rhetoric with Lady T was talking about. I wish she put her damn headphones on. She's a lot nicer with them things, but she's gonna be mean today. We just seen an example of what we would talk about. She talking about, no, I don't care, but then just talking about, why you gonna talk about us? Like, no, most of the brothers are not talking about you on their way out the door. They're not. They're not. They're just moving on. You know, I couldn't get a black girl because, like some of y'all said, they was nerds. Sisters wouldn't look for nerds in high school. Y'all wanted them bad boys. It went to 30 years old when you decide, oh, maybe I should get a nerd. Now that nerd don't want you because he owns a company or two. He owns a few businesses here and there. Now he don't want you. He done moved on. He done got him one of them old titty pinks. And now y'all looking at him with jealous and envy his eyes. And now you're mad at him because he ain't with y'all no more. He got his little biracial kids running around with the good hair. So that kinky bullshit you got in your goddamn head. Y'all mad about that bullshit. Look at Travis Kelce. He had him a sister. He said, fuck that heifer. I'm out of here. She too crazy. And she still stalking his black ass.
yeah, you get
She's so bitter.
this scenario only works if he dated somebody regular. It's Taylor Swift. Who wouldn't leave? That's like telling a black man he gonna leave his girl for
He
Rihanna.
left her before
he
he
gonna
got
all
with Taylor
leave
Swift.
for Rihanna. Like, come
He left
on.
her before he got to Taylor Swift. Don't Shane. Don't act like
Sorry,
it was,
I zoned out while
Taylor
you
Swift
were
or her.
speaking,
He
Hank.
didn't
What was
decide that.
I zoned out while you were speaking, Hank. What was the part of my rhetoric that you said that was problematic? Can you repeat yourself, please? I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Oh,
you.
she petty. She petty.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It is
You didn't have
petty.
your headphones on. That's why you didn't hear
Then
me.
she
No, but
moved
what's
that
crazy is I'm dead serious. I did though.
I know what. Catch it on the replay.
I just heard grumble, grumble, grumble.
Catch it on the replay.
Oh, go ahead, Cookie. You had your hand up.
First of all, Hank,
They love to talk to me.
you know, no, it's for a reason. First of
I
all,
know.
the reason I said they not all that is because I know that they not. I've been surrounded by athletes, and I have specific examples of why I know they're not all that. And this is probably 90% of the athletes. But what you just said about they're getting their snow buddies and our kinky nappy hair or whatever you said. Why?
Self-hate, that's why.
Why? Like, what
I
was the
mean,
point of
but
you
our hair
pointing out
is
our
kinky
hair?
and nappy.
Excuse me?
Sometimes them
So,
kids be
but our
coming out
hair
with
is
that kinky
kinky and
nappy.
nappy.
No,
Like,
but
it don't
wait,
come out.
pause though. But when you're using it in a derogatory form, yeah, I don't mind my hair being kinky and nappy. My hair is being dreaded underneath this wrap right now. But what I'm saying is when
Locks.
you use it as a derogatory form, like it's a bad thing, and they going to get these snow bunnies because our hair nappy and our attitude's bad. That's how that came off.
No,
Pause. No, you ain't got to explain right now.
that's not why they get me.
Let me explain why I said they ain't all that, because that's why this started. The reason I said that they are not all that. My child's father was an NFL player. Okay, first and foremost, I know firsthand being around the system and being an athletic person and being in the athletic world for so many years that when it comes to these professional athletes, it comes with rosters, it comes with groupies, it comes with cheating, it comes with cheating, it comes with cheating, it comes with cheating, especially when they hot and they in the league. There's certain types of women that are going to put up with it. And women of our hue just happen to not be the ones that'll put up with that to keep a bag. Despite how greedy y'all think we are, we want loyalty. So, with that being said, I know for a fact the reason why a lot of these athletes are picked, because y'all snow bunnies are more willing to turn a blind eye to keep a lifestyle than we are. And that's just what it is. Now, why our hair kinky and we are complaining and you don't want to be with us heifers, that's great. We don't want some cheating ass at no cost. Please go. Because that's why I said that it's not all that to be with a professional athlete, because that comes with so much. It does. That's the reason I'm not married to my child's father right now.
I mean,
So
but
I
I
have a
think that
question.
most would see that
Nobody,
during the
but y'all
college
didn't hear the
years.
example I gave when I said the regular dude. The regular dude, that nerdy dude, y'all thought was uncool because
Who is y'all?
Okay.
I love nerds. I've
Again,
always loved them.
the
The reason
y'all
I was
ladies
an athlete
who wanted
was
the bad
because I was
boys.
an athlete.
Y'all
And that's who
ladies,
understood me.
Cookie, I heard you. The ladies who wanted bad boys, in high school, that's what they wanted. Y'all weren't looking for them nerdy dudes.
So
Some
let me
ladies
ask you a
weren't looking for
question.
them nerdy dudes because they
My
wasn't
first
cool enough.
boyfriend in
They
college
didn't
was
fit
a
the
boy
bill.
when you were
Cookie.
NBA.
So I have a
Didn't fit the
question. I have
bill.
a
So,
question. So I have a
come on,
question.
ladies, I mean,
So
I didn't interrupt nobody when y'all was talking, but I can't get my
Okay,
words
go
out.
ahead, go ahead. But I
We
wanted
let
it was
you
something that
bash
you
our
were
hair
okay,
for
y'all.
5
You
I
minutes.
listen.
understand.
Cookie.
It
Go
hurts
ahead and finish your
sometimes.
statement, but I have a question about something that you just said. But go ahead, Hank.
So the ladies didn't want the nerds in high school. They wanted the bad boys. They wanted them edgy guys. The guy was on the edge. Although was a little bit older, probably graduated 3 years prior. They was looking at those dudes, them drug dudes, the street dudes. That's what
Whoop
they
my
wanted in
ass.
high
That's a
school.
lie.
It wasn't like I said till they got to 30 when y'all realized, yeah, that might not be the lifestyle I want to continue to go after the bad boys. And some of y'all old heads are still going after these bad boys and y'all don't know no goddamn better because y'all lost in your youth, your younger days when you were still in high school. That's what the mindset of some women. But y'all wasn't going after them dudes that wasn't cool. That wasn't in. They wasn't in the in crowd. They was off on themselves. They was some incels, as they call them now. Y'all wasn't looking at them.
We weren't
Y'all
going
not looking. Most of them ain't looking at them now. They rather have the other ones. And
I
now
wasn't
the other
looking
ones
at
ain't
nobody. I was trying to run fast.
I was a child in school, focused on my grades. I
But
was
y'all
being
let him, y'all, hey. Let him finish his thoughts. Then we will allow everybody to talk. Because we can't hear you anyway if everybody's talking. So go ahead and Hank finishes your thought.
So you brothers who decided to go get white women, I understand now. I understand. If this is a small sample size of what you have to deal with, I understand. I'm not going to blame you. I used to knock y'all for that. Now I understand. I remember when my ex-wife was talking about, she was worried about my son liking white girls. I said, I don't give a damn what type of girl. As long as she like girls, she's not a goddamn dick sucker. I'm good with that shit. What I care for? He like girls. That's the most important thing to me. I ain't gotta have that different conversation with my son. I can have a regular conversation with my son because he like girls. Now I deal with him like white girls. He might not know that. It's only a matter of time. And eventually he did. So look, I don't blame these motherfuckers for doing that. Not at all. Y'all brothers want to get your white girl, go get you one. If you want to go get Asian, Mexican, white, whatever nationality you want, go get them. I don't care. I ain't gonna hold it against you. I'm gonna go on mute so y'all can go on and kill me out.
So one or two things, right? So I hear what you're saying. So we have this thing where we like to make sure punish high schoolers, kids. These are kids I work with every day who don't even know math well about who they're dating. You're holding people against what they did 15 and 16. We always say, oh, that's when they were a child, but for some strange reason, when it comes to dating, they're supposed to be experts at dating, and they shouldn't, in my opinion, shouldn't be dating at that age anyway, right? They're not wise enough. But I would say this, I see just as many women who are overlooking nerds as I see nerds are men who overlook women who have their stuff together. It's like they miss both of them. When they're not the popular crew, nobody wants the girl who, just like the man, they don't want the girl who's opening her books. She's in the library. She's the quiet girl. It goes both ways. People always want what's popular, especially in high school. That's just high school. That's no matter what race you are. I mean, Mean Girls was made for a reason. No matter what race you are, you can't get away from that. So that's one. And then two, as we speak about passport bros, because I actually did, I think that people should be able to date who they want to date. But even when passport bros go to other countries, let's just say they go to South America, right? What we've noticed, because I've seen these South American women also speak, they don't even want the black ones. They don't even want the black ones there. They're the black South American women are saying, hey, when they come, they want the white Latinas. They don't want the darker Latinas. They want so it's not just an American thing. It's a color thing. Let's just be honest. Let's be real about the situation. If you're going to call a spade, let's call it a spade. Because I've seen that as well. As it relates to passport bros. There are people that these women get on, they talk about it, like they overlook us.
They're not marrying them.
Part of the experience. You know what I'm saying? They going over there for the experience. So if they're not gonna go on the other side of the country or the world rather to look like something that they can get in the States. I mean, that's.
But I thought it was submission that you wanted, something different, like the personality.
Right, it's something different. It's something different.
You mean the color?
It's in total, the total experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make it.
I'm not part of the passport bros or nothing like that. But that's my only assumption. If I was to do that, then I'm gonna go over there and find a Latina that look like J-Lo or some shit.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna diminish their experience to just it being looks. I can't do that. I know. I have friends that date interracially, and
talking about the passport
by
bros.
race. Yeah, and even with that, like even the passport bros, like.
So you're saying it's not about the experience?
No, I say it is about the experience. It's about
right.
more than just it's about that different experience, a different culture, values, how a person makes
the
you
looks,
feel.
the looks play a huge part in it.
I mean, you guys are men. Right. It's always gonna play a huge part in it. I mean, whether it's a person that's your same race or a person that you date outside of your race, right? So I don't know. Again, like it's about. I'm sorry. I was just responding to what you said in that part. I don't know if you were done, Viz. Were you?
No, you good. You good.
Oh, okay. Because I was just I just was saying that I don't think it's only about the looks, like or a person's skin color or whatever.
Well, no, I didn't say it's only about the look.
I was agreeing with you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think so. So in that case. I agree that it's about value system, right? So are we saying that African Americans, no matter what nationality you are, all act the same? Is that what we're saying?
No.
Mm-mm.
The values are the same?
Mm-mm.
Wait, so Shan, are you saying that the passport bros are going over there for the value?
No. She said the values is more than just the skin complexion. It's also the values, correct?
Yeah. So for example,
So let me just tell you the argument, right? The argument was even when they go to Brazil, the Brazilian women are saying they don't go for the darker Brazilian women. They go for the lighter Brazilian women because I would assume that their value system may be a little different than ours. Does that make sense?
So are they going over there to wife them? I thought they was just going over there.
So. God, that's not even bring
that was what I wanted to clarify. Let me just
yeah, I don't think they going over there to wife them.
Right. When we were speaking before about the passport bros, because we did a show on Chic Critique, but one of the things that a lot of times when we're talking about passport bros, it was under the guise of them going over there really trying to find a relationship because they couldn't find the relationship that they were looking for here. They were ready to get married. I can't marry these black women, attitude, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go overseas, find me, a woman who values family, who all of those things that they said that they were looking for in a relationship, a woman who's submissive, But when we started doing a deeper dive into it, the problem wasn't just that. The thing was that they wanted to go over these other countries doing the same ish that they're doing here with women in America. They're not marrying those women either.
Right.
Yeah,
So that was part of, and I remember watching something where some of the men from the other countries were also saying, like, you know, they are having issues with these passport bros because they're coming over there messing up their country, you know, doing the same stuff that they do here to the, you know, American women here, and they don't want that in their country. So some
What?
countries actually started setting up some kind of laws or something, like we were, you know, finding that out
Stamps
as
and
well. Now,
STDs.
so my thing is that if the goal is marriage, because I'm definitely for marriage. If the goal is marriage, my thing is, whether you are here or whether you go overseas, you have to understand what your value system is. If you're over here and you're saying, I want to get married, but I can't, you know, find the type of woman that I'm looking for, but yet you're hanging out in areas where you won't even attract that type of woman because you're looking for your wife in a club, or you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
just certain areas in which you're going to go to attract that type of woman. And then even if you go overseas and you're valuing certain, let's just say the external aspect of a woman, and not necessarily the internal part that's going to make a relationship work, it doesn't matter what country you're in, you're going to still seek those same type of women. So it's not necessarily the woman issue, it's a personal you issue. What your value system is, where you placing yourself in order to attract what you say that you want. Going from one country or another is not going to change what you end up attracting.
I
and
mean
that's what I was saying.
that's all fair,
It'll end
but
up what you
let's be 100.
contracting.
That's all generalized as well. I'm again, I don't know much about the passport bros, but what I do know is that they're going over there looking for a different type of woman. So if you're going to Thailand or Brazil, you know, you're going to look for what, you know what I'm saying, what's native there and what looks like, oh, okay, she's from Thailand, you know what I'm saying, or she's Brazilian or whatever. If you want to go and find another sister, then you're going to go to Africa, you're going to go to Ethiopia or Congo or Ivory Coast or something like that. It is that just goes, I don't think it has anything to necessarily do with the values. It's just a different culture, a different type of person that you're now involving yourself with.
So I'm gonna say that
And I don't think that a lot of them is actually, you know what I'm saying, they wifing them. They just going over there to have a good time.
right, and that's where the problem is, right?
How is
Because
that a problem?
um because you're running from yourself, and I mean, like, what do you mean, how is that a problem?
I mean, if that's what they into, then that's what they
When
into.
you go overseas, it means you running from yourself. Is that what we're doing? So,
Well,
so
I
y'all
didn't
can
even get to finish, Hank.
this.
So don't respond to me until I get to finish.
You over talk about
Let
man.
me finish, because I just
Let Lady
yielded.
G finish,
I
you
just
guys.
I just yielded to this man for him to say that craziness. I'm
You right.
surprised that he even said. Okay.
You right.
Okay, go ahead, Lady G.
So okay. So like I was saying, it's definitely values, because if you value getting your penis wet and that's all, that's what you're going there to do, right? You're putting your life. You're not thinking about like what you actually want to accomplish. You want to have a fun time, you want to hang around for a fun time, not a long time. You're not considering, you know, what effect that could potentially have on that woman. You're not you know what I mean, you're just not, you're using human beings for your supply of whatever it is that you need to fill, whether it be for you to get a nut, for you to get some companionship long term, for whatever, right? And not wanting to, and then there's escapism because they're over there, right? And they can get away with doing it there and not have to deal with just facing themselves, essentially. Because if you don't want a relationship, you don't want marriage, right? But you're going somewhere where you probably have an advantage, or maybe they're at a disadvantage because they think that they're gonna buy the dream that maybe you're gonna want to be with them or whatever it is, right? But there's right and wrong, y'all. Like, I don't know why people try to live in this gray area. Like, people are so out of order now. Like, it really makes no sense to me. If you want to sit here and be a person that's having casual sex, have sex with people that want to have casual sex, and know that you guys are just having casual sex. That's not my ministry, but that's the only time when it's not a problem. But if you're a passport bro going to another country to find a wife, but not really find a wife, make a woman feel like you're out there to find a wife so that you can help yourself to a serving of her body, that's an issue.
You a dirty D boy.
Dirty D boy. Community D.
And let's just clarify, we know that that's not all passport bros, because there are some legit who are married.
That's what I'm saying. It's so generalized.
Yeah, so like, we know that that's not. We don't want to give passport bros a bad name. That's not.
That ain't.
We ain't gotta do it for them.
But realistically, there are guys that's going over there to look for a wife, and there's guys going out there that's looking for women that's selling it. You know what I'm saying?
Specifically referring to the majority. That was what I was talking about, and the stats do show that. So that's what I was speaking to. The one, like I said, it's really about if your intention is to marry, that's what you're gonna do, whether you're in the States or go overseas.
Yeah, you're gonna do that regardless.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, I think once the passport bros got once it grew in popularity, and awareness, you know what I'm saying, niggas that just wanted to just go out there and, you know what I'm saying, slang their thing, shit, that's what they did, because they knew it was out there, you know what I'm saying, they on the street selling it, you know, and I'll spend 2 days with you for X amount of dollars, and I'll bring my friend with.
That's a transaction. I think that what Lady T is saying, if you're selling her dreams that you don't plan on making come true, then that's the problem.
But
they going over doing that and then coming back to America thinking,
who is selling these dreams? I don't understand. Most of these women don't want to get married. They want the idea of marriage. They want to go they want to have the bachelorette party. They want to have the bride shower. They want to go through the honeymoon. They want to go. I'm not even talking about out of country yet. I'll get to that. I'm talking about the women here. They don't want it. They want the idea. After that first month, they ready to be done with it. Oh, I'm due with marriage. This shit's overrated. It's not what I thought it was. It's not what it's cracked up to be. So now they ready to get out of the marriage because you're not willing to fight. You're not willing to put your hard hat on and get your lunch pail and go in there with 10 toes down ready to work. You're not, because as soon as you get to that damn peak, you good. You hit that valley, oh, it's all bad. I got to get gone. Where's my divorce lawyer? Where's my divorce attorney? I need to get them on retainer. I got $47,000 escape fund money already saved up just in case he get out of line. That's the type of shit they on right now. So look, if a woman's not requiring marriage, doesn't matter what country or state where you at. It doesn't matter. They don't require marriage. You don't act like you want to get married. You don't require marriage. Then if a man just fuck on you, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, because you don't require marriage. If you did, you will be moving differently. You be talking differently. You be acting differently. But you act like the regular heifers out in these goddamn streets. So they're gonna treat you as such. You don't deserve to be respected like a real woman should. You deserve to be treated like the common day hoe. Treat them as such. So if they're going overseas to get treated like that, them women over there know they're not coming to bring them back. They're not doing that. They coming over to get fucked on. And they understand that. And they okay with that. They'll take your international dollars. They'll take your crypto. They'll take your coins if you bring them. Doesn't matter. They know what it is.
Let me say something real fast. I wanted to
real quick, please. I just have a question.
Right?
No, I promise. Yes, right now, it's not one of those moments. It's not one of those moments. We here, right? My grandma used to say, when you lay with dogs, you catch fleas, right? So if all these men like there's nothing wrong with men laying with these women that they consider soiled and nasty and beneath them and whores, and they know what it is. It's nothing wrong with y'all to go lay with them and then go and take that same penis and them same strokes and that same loving that y'all gave women that y'all don't value and bring it back to women that y'all I'm trying to understand.
That's where I'm at with it, you nasty motherfuckers.
I'm just trying to understand how we. I'm just trying to understand how we like.
I got you. Let me tell you what they do. So once they do all with y'all, then they go get that beautiful snow bunny, and then they act like they got that get right. Let's take it full circle. They act like they got that get right.
Oh, so they gonna give them the STD.
So I have a question.
I'll take that.
I'll take that. Hey, lady, that's that self-hate.
So let me ask you a question, because one of the things, real fast, I know one of the things you talked about was the divorce rate. So now that he has the white woman, and I like to call them snow bunnies, the white woman, what it has shown is those divorce rates are actually higher than if he would have just married a black woman. The divorce rate is the worst of all divorce rates when a black man marries a white woman.
So is the domestic crime rate.
I didn't look that part up, so I can just take your word for it. But when it comes to that, so what would be the so what's that about? Just curious.
Honestly, Shan, when people talk about these divorce rates, I think that's funny too. It's a little comical because we're literally focusing on a quantitatively insignificant portion of the data. Because if no one's getting married, and of the percentage of people that are getting married, a smaller percentage of black people are getting married. And of that percentage of black people that are getting married, we're focusing on those talking points within that subset of data to make it seem like everyone in the world is behaving themselves in a certain way. It's just like we're just constantly focused on all the reasons to be bonded to our trauma so that we don't show up as our full selves today for a person that could potentially be what we need them to be so that we can make waves on this world. And I know I'm a little sappy and I'm a tree hugger and sometimes, whatever. And I'm like, but seriously, that's what it seems like.
So the reason why you bring up stats, because you like to look at what works and what doesn't work. Okay. So yes, we have a lot of people who are not married, but a lot of people aspire to be married. A lot of people don't aspire to be for the streets all their lives. Okay. So what you do is you look and see what works and what doesn't. And so I brought that up because now we're talking about interracial relationships.
That's a terrible way to gauge it though.
Well, so even if, let's just say if you're just dating a woman. So what are we going to talk about? Kids, illegitimate kids? Like, what are we going to base it off of? Would you not rather do the people who did it right, in opposed to the people who are just out here?
Okay, so you saying what addressing in those divorces what didn't work, or
so first and foremost, I'm only piggybacking off of something Hink said. Hink brought up divorces. So off of what he brought up, I brought up because that was his reason. And he said, we're just getting divorced. So since we're talking about interracial relationships, I brought up the divorce. Okay. It wasn't originally part of the conversation. But since we're on and you bring up divorce, I'm saying, well, majority of the divorces.
Well, I think going off of what Hink said, is that people getting married for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? They're not even ready to get married. They think they want to, but they don't really understand how to accept what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? So if regardless of what color you are, if you don't have that mindset, then hell yeah, you gonna end up getting divorced. Especially in this day and age of where it can appear that you have 5,000 other options. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, motherfucker gonna check out quick. But they weren't really ready to get married. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the bigger picture of it.
Right. So I would agree with everything that you're saying. So I wouldn't say it's black women. I would just say people
are
not ready. When you look at a black woman thing, then that doesn't make sense because black women aren't even in that equation. That's black men and white women. But if you say, okay, these people are getting married and they're just not ready to be married, then we can focus on another conversation. But when you're sitting here saying, yeah, because y'all ain't, because when I hear you say y'all, I'm thinking you're talking about black women because we're all black women on this panel, right? And we're talking about interracial relationships. So if you put it on the table and say, well, all women, modern day women, or women of all races, blah, 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 they're just not married. Or we need to find ways to be, maneuver and be happily married during this day and age. Because I also believe that people who got married a long time ago don't understand the same complexities that come along with it by being married today. There's a lot more noise as far as social media.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It's a lot of different. It's a lot of opinions as far as with marriage. There's a lot of different narratives as well, especially in Black culture, especially towards men and women that push them to not get married. You know what I'm saying? Just people women would rather want to spend their life alone much rather than finding a person to spend it with. You know what I'm saying? Like these are real life narratives now that people are pushing and people are feeding into it. So, I mean, I agree with Hank in that sense because it's just what's common now. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to it's hard to intake that information and not be affected by it in some manner.
And I agree with Hank. I agree with half of Hank because I think that it's a us problem. I don't think it's a you. I think that we both men and women have a little work to do.
For sure.
Anybody else wanted to?
Yeah, y'all, don't sit there and say you agree with me. Welcome to the dark side.
I agree with half of what you said.
Shan's already over whether she want to believe it or not. She on the dark side. That's okay.
I love you, Hank.
Right on.
A wink for Hank, y'all. All right, you guys are gonna do these super chat.
Harrison, $5. Salute. Dedicated to my children's future. Gifted 5 Lapeef Network membership. Kenneth Percival, $5. Afternoon panel and crumb cookie. The lack of accountability by Black women when these brothers go for the milk. Hank is expressing how men think. Shake my head. Aren't most Black people lactose intolerant? But go ahead.
You petty too.
Just joking.
Petty.
I was just joking. I don't care. Kenneth Percival, $2. Shan, what is the majority ethnicity of this place?
Probably white.
Of where? Because majority of the world is
well, Africa, obviously, which is the largest continent. But I mean, if he's talking about South America,
majority of the world is people of color.
For sure, but the places that we were talking about was Brazil.
You said Brazil,
right?
Brazil has the second highest population of Black people outside of Africa.
But But is it more than white people?
I would think so, because
they're not white in Brazil.
They're
Afro.
Definitely.
You do understand slaves were sent to different places, not just America, right? Africans were sent different places, right?
Hey, shout out to Kenneth for the super chat, even though we ain't finished them yet.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Percival, you're speaking on feelings, not stats.
Okay, sure. We're women. That's what we do.
Kenneth Percival. I'm seeing these side chats. It's so funny because people don't read and then think that when you say certain things that you're making stuff up because they haven't read. But Kenneth Percival, $5. The majority of these men are generally above 35 and not going for marriage. They are seeking peaceful coexistence.
Okay. Oh, I did that.
And disease.
Kenneth Percival, $2. HR said I got banned from Sunday service.
Welcome back.
Kenneth Percival. All right, Kenneth. Why is it wrong to chase your happiness?
Because it's up to you to be happy. It's your
Well,
choice.
you got to make sure the other person's happy in the situation too. You can't just be out
Why?
here checking. A person can rob a
I'm
bank
not. I'm
and
not.
be happy, and it don't mean it's right.
I'm not responsible for another person's happiness.
Yeah, but you
But you
can't
can
do it at
also
the
choose
expense of
happiness
somebody else.
off
No,
another
that's not what I'm
person's
saying.
back.
You can't do it at the expense of somebody else. I can treat you like shit, right? And it'll make me happy, but that's not how we have to coexist with each other, right? Like y'all gotta come on. What's right and right? We can't do that. We're not gonna do that.
And then you let those people. You got to cut those people loose from your life. It's up to you to choose happiness. It's not up to any one individual to make another individual feel happy. If there's something in your life that's not making you happy, cut it from your life.
Facts.
That's true. I think I saw when he posted it. That's why I was going back to that conversation. But go ahead.
Kenneth Percival, $2. What stats mistaken? I think you're mistaken. You need to be specific about what stats you're talking about, and I'll find.
And you don't have to pay. And you can pay. Do a super chat if you want her to $2.
Okay. Kenneth Percival, $2. Hank, hold the line. Shan got popcorn in her hair.
Listen, that popcorn was good. It's 100-calorie popcorn. I'm trying to preserve my fine, Go ahead.
Advanced perception, $5. The Black men that marry foreign women actually live overseas, usually because they work for the tech company. They become part of the culture of these women. Then
I would support that.
But then I don't consider that a passport bro.
I consider that you moved.
Right. You're not a passport bro if you're actually living there. I wouldn't. Just
because you live there don't mean you're a resident though. So you still up under the umbrella of a passport, bro, ain't you?
No, from the context from what
you ain't got no citizenship yet though.
No,
but don't you have a timeline for citizenship?
Well, I'm sure they do, but they can extend it too.
Listen, but what I was saying from the context from which we were speaking was about men specifically traveling overseas to find a partner. So in that situation, that wouldn't count as that. You understand?
But he's saying when they find their partner, they decide to stay. So I see what he's saying. You're saying find a partner, but you didn't specify and say to partner to bring back. Does that make sense?
No. So what he's saying right here is they actually already live overseas. Like it could be because they're working overseas. Like people, have a job, they send them overseas. They're there for, whatever time, and they end up meeting somebody and marrying them. That's totally different than you're going over there to look or hook up with somebody. Into Black Dragon, $5. Interracial marriages last far longer because white women are not masculine or disrespectful.
That's not true.
And tend to trust the leadership of Black men rather than consistently complaining.
Incorrect.
So hold on. Let me jump in here real quick. Whoa. Hold on. Let me address this dude.
He was the first person to say something, but go ahead.
AP was.
Yo, bro, like what we not gonna do? We're not gonna get up here and talk shit about Black women because you decide that you wanted a white woman. We're not gonna get up here and talk all Black women ain't shit because you decided to go get a white woman. Maybe the Black women that you have dealt with in your life weren't shit. Maybe you ran across some ain't shit Black women. But I'm gonna tell you, I personally, and this is not any simp or any bullshit, I personally met some dope ass Black women, and I would not wrap this statement around their necks. This that bullshit that Lady T and Cookie was talking about earlier. Like, cut the bullshit. If you don't like Black women, keep that shit to yourself. Go overseas or go find you a snow bunny and go do your thing, boss man. But we're not gonna sit up here and talk shit about Black women. I'm not gonna not like that.
And Lady T also talked about those dudes how they was going out there and getting these white women. So
I addressed that though but we addressed that though, right? You know what I'm saying?
We didn't get on Cookie or Lady T for that shit. Did nobody say nothing for that?
I did. We did question them when they.
Did you say something when they took shots at black men for dating outside?
Yeah, absolutely. Because the point that when hold on, when it was first said, it was before the comment about the ain't shit. It was actually before that. When I'm like, not all black men. I forget the comment. I'd have to rewind, but I did say not all black men are X, Y, and Z and on some bullshit. I ain't say it like that.
My
but
bad. I'm not submissive.
But yeah, it was addressed, sir. Cause we're not gonna do that neither. We ain't gonna have any black man slander. You can cancel that shit.
And when did I ever slander any black man?
Hey, P, my bad, brother.
And when did I ever slander a black man?
Accountability, ladies. I'm leading by example.
And when did I slander a black man?
We're not going to slander either one on this channel.
Yeah, no, but I need him to not try to slander my character and clarify that.
I'll recall.
When did I ever slander any black man?
And we need
We'd have to rewind the tape.
Listen, so
I said 90% of athletes were horrible people with rosters.
It was before that.
And
I didn't say nothing bad about black men before that. I
neither did
black men in my life.
I have nothing bad to say about black men.
Oh, I wish I had my laptop.
Whatever.
Okay, go ahead. The next one.
DAP DH Harris $2. We got STIs running rampant here in America too.
Yeah, because your penis not clean. How do you think they get an STI?
Hold on, your vagina ain't clean either. What are we talking about?
Yeah, they going overseas. And for a good time, and then come back here.
Hey,
I'm joking. It's not supposed to be a whole conversation.
Women are doing the same thing, man. It was a video. It was a video of a chick in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. You know, they on the rafts. Her girl taping it. She go to it. My man's raw dogging her in the
woman he just met.
Just don't even know her. He wanted to Joyce that do this. He wanted them getting raw dogged by her, you know what I'm saying, in the lake.
I have a lot of
doing it too. And then her buddy that's recording it, she like, don't go all the way in. You got to use a plastic bag or something.
This
is a real life video, bro.
It wasn't Lady T, was it?
I'm gonna need you. No, you don't need to relax. I ain't doing for real. Bro. No, you need to reel it in. Let's not even play that way because no one can ever. Okay.
Hank Petty too.
Then he backed out.
Hell, it's somebody else to do it. I ain't one of them.
Oh man, but yeah, no, man. You know what I'm saying? Women going over there doing it too. Shit, Stella got her groove back. They've been doing it since the 90s.
And what I hope with that so we all know they're nasty men and they're nasty women, but we're not gonna make it seem like that's the majority of women just getting ran through in a lake. Did you say a lake? The lake is probably the worst, like a lake.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's a no. But anyway, okay, so we have to move on, you guys. Gets a little more serious on the rest of these, but here's the video.
You being a man from an African family, what would your family say about you bringing like an American woman?
My daughter's mom is American. Most African parents, if we're being honest, they would actually prefer you bring home a white person. It's messed up because like we talk about Uncle Tom's and racism and what it did to African Americans, but colonialism did a number on Africans. So a lot of Africans, they default to thinking white people are
superior.
So it goes from white people to Asians, Hispanic, and then black. America's number one export is entertainment. A lot of Africans know our culture as far as our food and our clothes and things like that, but we don't necessarily know the context. So we don't consider y'all's context. So we don't think about Jim Crow, or we don't think about, post-traumatic slavery. We don't think about that stuff. So we just look at it kind of like how Asian people look at it. Why are those niggas acting the way that they do? Even though we have a kind of similar story, we don't make that same connection that, oh, this happened to them, then this happened to them, then this happened to them, and it's still happening. So that's why we have that same kind of mindset.
Wait, Shane, can I say one thing? Because
mistaken. Going off topic.
I promise one thing.
It's just normal.
Because I just want to clarify something. So Prime, I guess it's Prime VA 757. I'm basically saying that you were not what you were saying wasn't true about the rates of divorce or interracial marriages with Black men or whatever. So he said because the highest divorce rates is Black women, even in interracial marriages. Now, if you look up the statistics, because I don't know if he's just responding out of emotion just to clap back or actually reading, but it specifically says, I'm reading now, white wife, Black husband marriages show twice the divorce rate of white wife, white husband couples by the 10th year of marriage, whereas Black wife, white husband marriages are 44% less likely to end in divorce. So when we're saying certain things, we do look up information.
Welcome to a Chic critique. We like to research things
that sister know
before
how to acquiesce to that white man. They've been doing that all their goddamn lives. So why ain't they doing it now?
So
I actually agree with that, Hank.
So first of all, I've already given my opinion on that. I do think that white men, when they date Black women, they go for a certain type of Black woman, right? Who is more catering and all of these things. She probably went to school with a lot of white people. They find a person who's more like them. Okay. But in the sample size is just smaller. But why were you shaking your head, Cookie? You wouldn't agree with that?
No. Let me history teach y'all real quick. I got to turn on my history teacher light bulb. Ding. The reason why most white men accept Black women for who they are, and y'all complain, and y'all been programmed and taught to complain about us so much, is because the white men and the white churches, and they actually know who we are as a whole group of individuals. Let's just put that out there right now. Us as a whole race, they know who we are and what we are in our past and in our history. And they appreciate that. So when a white man gets with a Black woman, it's a prize for him because they never think that these type of women or this queen will look back. Y'all don't look at us as queens because y'all see us every day, and that we do have some bad representation out there right now that would make us lose our crown status. But what happens, instead of individualizing Black women for their individual characteristics, y'all have blanketed all of us in the same category, and they're speaking in absolutes. White men don't do that. They look, like Shan just said, they look out for the regal type Black female. Y'all don't care. The more regal we are, the more y'all hate us. And that has been programmed in y'all's head by the same men that's stealing us from y'all.
So I definitely try to humble us if we're too empowered or too whatever. That's legitimately what happens too. That's a fact.
Could it be that people just want something that's so different from what they're used to? We mentioned it earlier. I think it was Viz the post. When it comes to men in general, no matter what race you are, maybe you just want something that, because that was what he said earlier.
Yeah, no, I don't think that all white men are getting Black women and having the approach of this is my queen or whatever. I think that it's the same way for some Black men to get a white woman. It's the same thing as a white man getting a Black woman. You know what I'm saying? Now I can, this is my trophy, that I can kind of show off type of deal.
They know something we don't about us.
I don't know how we don't know that. If we're told
because
that all
they're removing it from every history book. I'm a teacher.
Well, no, there's I think that's a whole other conversation.
No, it's all connected, my boy.
I don't think that it is. If you don't know the value of yourself, especially in this day and age, then that's your own choice.
But that's what I'm saying. Ignorant men, I'm not talking about the men on the panel, blanket all Black women ignorant women blanket all black men in the same category, speaking in
That's
absolutes,
that's
and
that's
that's the
what
problem.
that's what people do in general. I mean, you just did the same thing for white men. You know what I'm saying? In their perspective. Go ahead.
I agree. So I see what you're saying, Cookie, but I would have to agree because I did see a reel, and I thought this was especially true. And it was a guy, and I wish I do have it, but I don't even know how to upload it. But one of the things that he mentioned was he was a black guy. He was talking to a white panel, and he said to them, when a black person does something wrong, we're all a group. But as soon as one does something exceptionally well, he's the exception of the group. He's looked at as an individual. So I think that that's a man thing. I think men just have this thing, a way of clumping things together like that. I don't think it has to do with black men or white men. I think in their head, they know that there is a difference. It just doesn't come out their mouth that way. They don't like to use words a lot or many. They just say women, black women, and he'd be like, oh, well, you know I'm not talking about all of y'all. Why I gotta say it? Not realizing that those words are there for a reason. A lot was made so you can say not all, but a lot. Most is there because you can say most, so you can, specify what you're trying to say. But I think men, some men just have an issue doing that.
I always say most. I don't speak in absolutes. Run a tape back. But all I was saying
women have a right. I know women have a better. They do that a little bit better than a lot of men do.
I don't think so. I think that a lot of the narratives now is all men being generalized. You just one thing that you did say is when you said how black men are being conditioned essentially to not look at black women as their queens because we see them every day or something.
That's systematic.
Like that. But that's
what he's saying is you said black men. You didn't say
right.
Some,
you generalized
most, you
it.
did the same. Right. That's what he's saying.
But that is systematic. Am I wrong?
But even with the system, I think what he's saying, even with the system, that wouldn't be all men because there are black men who believe that they have black queens. Their wives are their black queens.
That they know their history. I'll say
right, but that means that that's not all of them. It wouldn't be black men. It would be some black men. And
I'll take it.
Black men. Right.
My apologies.
Yeah, no, I don't think again that has anything to do with necessarily knowing your history. If you respect people, if you respect humans, if you respect people that look like you, you know what I'm saying? That's instinctive in black people. We damn near in the position, if you really want to go there, we damn near in the position that we're in because of that. That's in
real quick. I don't mean to cut you off. Lady T's in the back asking to be brought back up. She accidentally clicked out.
I got ADD.
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry about that.
No, you all good. But that's a whole other conversation.
Thank you, AP.
And so
I was gonna leave
I think that's a people thing. I don't think that some people are just like that. They like to see like a group and they like to just stereotype. It's like the whole stereotype thing, right? If I see a group doing it, they must all, I focus on the negative and not the positive, right?
Exactly.
It gives me the bonnet in the airport syndrome. You can see two bonnets and there's 1,000 black women without a bonnet, and all of a sudden these black women got these bonnets on, and it's like two. you don't see the other 1,000 walking around without bonnets on their head. It's two. So that's that whole way of thinking, So, but I don't think it's just black. I think it's people. It's some people.
I'd like somebody who's more familiar with pop culture than myself to give me. I'm trying to think outside of my personal experience and the things that I have seen. Right when I see,
I'm just gonna ignore that video I put down. Let me let you.
No, that's like I'm actually about to address it now.
Okay.
So I think so when I see a white man with a black woman, I see a very specific type of white man with a very specific type of black woman. I don't typically see, and I'm just going to throw this example out there. Let's say a business class white man with
ratchet salad.
with yeah, like I don't typically see that. Meanwhile, black men are being asked, for the most part, to accept you as you are. But you adjust, like either you adjust to the white man, or they only go after a very particular type of black woman. Now, is there any pop culture reference or couple or that breaks that stereotype that I like? Because I don't see it.
Can we look? I want you guys. This is what I want every man. I want you to stop giving ratchet people. I may stop saying.
Ooh, we agree.
I want you to stop giving these women attention. So maybe to stop.
But they're ratchet too, man.
Well, we agree. We agree,
Shan. Stop dating them, giving them attention, so it can, because women like attention. Because if you're giving them attention, you're giving them what they want. So if you could just stop giving them attention, maybe they'll go back to their drawing board and see what you are giving attention to. So if you give attention to modesty, you'll be amazed at how many women will be modest. Like it's what you give attention to. When they see that you're giving attention to this bad behavior.
The bad behavior.
I 100% agree with you. Now, I think that the part that we always forget in this moment is that group of men that's doing that is typically the group that women that want to be married, want to be in successful relationships that they're not in. You know what I'm saying? So if you're carrying yourself in that manner, then you have no choice but to attract someone that's going to respect that and someone that's looking for that. Aside from that, the ratchets is going to attract the ratchets. That's just how it is. That's just how it always be. If I for damn sure don't want nothing that look like Sexy Red, but there's a group of men that's into that.
But real fast, and I hate to cut your point off because I really want you to focus on this, okay? Giving attention also means sleeping with them. Because sometimes they don't know that you're just sleeping with them. I'm talking about leave them alone, period. Don't even give them an opportunity to even be in your vicinity.
You're not
why
even
are you
listening to
with them? Why are you taking them to dinner?
You're not listening to what I'm saying then. You ain't hear nothing that I just said.
So I hear what you're saying. I'm not seeing what you're saying.
That maybe you're looking in the wrong group.
How dumb are women if they think just sleeping on means I want to?
Some women focus. Some women. How dumb are some women? But go ahead, Hink. That's what you meant to say.
How dumb are women who move like that and think like that? How dumb are y'all? If y'all think like that, and that's what you think, just because he sleep with means he wants to wife you up or be in a relationship. No, he may just be out there get a shot of ass. But you tell yourself, oh, he wants me to have his baby. No, he really don't. He just wants them 20 minutes.
Right. So what I'm
saying to boasting about that like it's something worth bragging about. Like y'all giving the same
thing. Look, this woman getting her feeling right now.
Hello. Yeah, no, you on one today and you telling a lie. Crazy. But there's no amount of like justification for like dishonorable behavior that you can use to try to make up for the fact that a lot of you men lack dignity, lack honor, lack self-discipline, and want to try to justify the fact that because you are men, you get to sow your royal oats. And like, it's just not, I don't know when we're going to get beyond that point. You know what I mean? Like, and how old you got to be, because you mad old.
A lot of the women that these men are cracking, that they're having sex with, they're just as promiscuous. There's a reason why there's a large amount of women, if you go on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, that they have OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? That it isn't just a one side is just doing it all. That group of men are sleeping with the same group of women that thinks the same exact way.
So I think that what I was trying to say was if the men have a real concern about there being too many ratchet women or too many women that behave a certain way, in order for that to change, you have to change giving them attention. That's all I'm saying. I do know that there are women out there. That's why we're talking about this. But if you really want to see a change in women, you got to stop giving them attention.
Well,
And
so I think another part of this, and I love to use this example, the strip club. At one point in time, men would go to the strip club to see a certain type of woman look a certain type of way, right?
Mhm.
You now have women, men went there for that. You now have a large majority of women that look like that outside of the strip club. You know what I'm saying? So that's not up to men to stop giving them attention, because that's what men want to do instinctively. So they'll go to the strip club. That's why there's strip clubs, right? So if women can't decipher for themselves to not make themselves appear to be a stripper to get the attention, then you know what I'm saying? That like that's not
So you're saying this is going to be up to, so I was
it's
asking
not
you
up
is
to men. Men are
it is, and let me tell you why. Women do what it's just like men do what women want. It's vice versa. Nobody, I can sit here and try to promote it all day long. She's gonna do it for what she wants, and that's a man, right?
But
So I'm
but
saying
you
if
also
you're so real fast, I'm saying that if you have a problem with it, which men have a problem with it, if you want to see your problem be fixed, that's what you got to do.
But how y'all supposed to be the leaders in the community and the family, and you talking about strip clubs staying open because of women, and OnlyFans pages staying
that's
open
not
because
what
of
I
women?
said. But
But that is what you said.
the analogy with the strip club was that men went there to look for a certain type of woman.
They did.
Right. So now, and what separated it was that women outside of the strip club did not look like they were in the strip club. So now
Okay.
if women are appealing themselves willingly, appealing themselves in that manner as if they're outside of the strip club, then of
Okay.
course they're going to get the attention. That's what men do instinctively. That's human
So
nature.
my thing about
But
how's that?
wait. So the thing is that there are going to be a certain type of men that's not looking for that, and they're going to give the attention to the women that are modest. So what women need to do in that case is not placed on men. Is women deciding, okay, do I want to be in this strip club or do I want to be outside of it? And that's
Why
all in
don't
how you
y'all
present
y'all
yourself.
always talk about the sisterhood? Why don't y'all, as older men,
So
talk to?
I think
I'm
You know what?
just
Never
telling you
mind.
what it is. I could
I
tell
get it.
men.
So I get what you're saying, Viz. So what I'm saying to you is, right? I absolutely understand what you're saying. But it's got to be a point where if you are not moving that way, if you have something, if your morals are not about that, you wouldn't even allow that in your life. It's nothing but noise there to mess your life up, right? So you got to at least have some class about the people you deal with. If you are a classy man, you should be able to pull classy women. Why would you have to go to a trash hole to find
I
find
don't.
a
Not only
woman?
that, why would
I
I, as a
don't.
woman that of a particular caliber or whatever, that carries myself a certain way, that would be a bit more reserved and conservative? And I'm speaking to the women that operate this way, and this is obviously hypothetical, guys. It's not about me. But why would I, as a woman, right, dating a man that you want, as a man, you want a woman that's going to respect you, right? That's going to love on
Absolutely.
you, support you, ride
Absolutely.
for you,
At the
all
minimum.
those things, right? But
At the minimum.
you're dating women that you don't value, that you're giving these women the same access to you as I have to you. And I'm supposed to feel some kind of honor and whatever as
You should, because a man that
Yeah, but
carries
we
themselves in that
only give
manner,
it to you
he's
for
not
20
going to do
goddamn
that.
minutes. That's only access we
hear
give you
him,
for
man.
20 minutes.
Y'all just be
20
throwing
minutes is all you getting from us. Then we'll
Yes,
turn you over to the
your
street.
body was sweat. You got her sweat on you. Her
20
body
minutes.
was
Y'all know
Goddamn
we gonna
minutes.
last 5. What the hell are you talking about?
At 5, it doesn't matter how long you last. I just need long enough to get it off.
Ladies,
And then
this
we
is
gonna
why
get
you
back
keep your
over to the
legs
goddamn
closed.
streets.
Okay, this is
No, we
why
could.
you keep your legs
We're
closed.
not. Lady T,
I
we
love
got
you.
tired of hearing
You
about
are
your
man. So much to say when
we
you
don't
give
care about how much you love
time to get their 3
and how much
pumps
you want
off.
to save the planet and
Keep your
recycle.
legs
We don't
closed
care.
to these men.
We
Because
only
why-
want
this
them
is why I
5
be at
minutes, as
home,
Lady
right
T
give
said,
them 4
or them
pumps
20 minutes.
and
That's all
they
we care about.
they hang
Hey,
over the bed
wait,
and be
hold
asleep
on.
for 12 hours.
Lady T has
Right.
to
All
speak.
we
Hold
do.
on. Let me
20
say
minutes,
this
that's
to
all we
clarify.
need.
That's why I be at home.
Let me say this to clarify. He ain't funny as hell, but I can't as I stated before in the previous one, I've never been one to just give myself to any and everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm too valuable of a man to do that. So I hear what you're saying, but there are a lot of men that's okay with that, and it's a lot of women that's okay with it. The deciding factor in it all is for you to find a person that believes in those values and make the shit happen with them. You know what I'm saying? If they don't carry themselves in that same way, then that's a different type of man. You know what I'm saying? That's not the man that you want. So there's a whole group of men that do that, but most women just don't. They don't want to be a part of that group. That's what it seems like, in my opinion.
What? We want that man. Don't
Y'all
believe
know,
those
What
y'all
shit?
know
Go
y'all
get
the
them.
cookies not Ray Rays. Y'all know what y'all
So
really want.
let me say this. Of course, let's go back to that video. So that video,
He got a pookie in the other
we
room.
do need to change the way others look at how we move.
Hank, shut up before I go hard.
Don't go hard. Don't go hard.
He seemed to want smoke today, spreading lies on people's character.
I can hit below.
Oh,
I'm gonna go below the belt.
Do y'all want to just go to the next video?
I did not
Go
sign
to the
up for
next one.
Thursday vibes.
Let's go to the next one. I guess that one wasn't, so this one is kind of some scholars talking, okay? So I just let y'all know how to do. Okay.
Form of white supremacy, and that the black men are frequently responding to her dominant position, the fact that she is considered a superior status object in the society. But getting back to this point,
well, let me ask a question before you move to that. Then if we accept that, are we saying that the black men who marry white women are asking for dominance from a female?
No, the black men who are married by white women.
But the trend you continually...
No, I think that they're looking for status.
The black men are looking for status.
The black men are looking for status whether they are aware of it or not. In other words, as long as you have white supremacy domination any place in the world, whether it's Brazil, whether it's Hawaii, whether it's Japan, any place, you name it, that as long as the people of color are the people who are oppressed, then when a marriage occurs, in other words, the dominator says, I will pick you amongst the victims who I dominate to marry you, then the victim says, oh goody, this means I'm in.
Well, that's true, but if I can ask this question.
Do y'all think that people date for status, like the move up, the come up, like it'll make you a little less black?
Absolutely.
If you're dating a person of another race?
Absolutely.
People date for status even within a race.
They date exactly. They date for status even with
status. Women are status symbols for men. That's why men don't date any kind of woman. That's why men aren't allowing themselves to be seen in public with certain types of women. That's why men don't marry certain types of women. That's why certain men don't show up to these galas and these places with other execs that are making high income and high earners without having a woman on their arm. Women are status symbols for men, period. But men want to devalue and invalidate those things.
Men.
You're right. Some men, right? Let me correct that. The men in these spaces want to invalidate, want to invalidate the value of a woman, and I hate it for us. Like, I laugh about it sometimes. Sometimes it's really annoying because it's like, when is this conversation going to get old? When are people going to realize that we're so much better together? Like, I value the black men that are respectful, that carry themselves with pride and dignity, and actually are moving forward, actually contributing to their community, actually being positive, like influences in the lives of people around them. You know what I mean?
We need answers. There's no answers being given to how to fix it.
I think Lady T was still trying to get her point out, but I'm gonna let you go next, Vias. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanna finish because it's feeling like I'm getting I'm getting excited. And I don't want anyone thinking I'm triggered, but I'm just trying to finish my thought.
My bad. Do your thing.
And I'm
My bad.
passionate. And I am passionate, right? So, like I was saying, you can mute up too, because I don't need to hear your evil ass cackle. Thank you.
I thought I was muted. I apologize. I thought I was muted. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Right? It's just a thing. Like we really are like it's this whole tug of war, push and pull, constant like search for what is wrong with this black man, what is wrong with this black woman. Like how am I better than you? How are you weaker than me? Like it's always, you give people solutions and they try to find a damn problem. And it's facts. Like even with, like I said, the point I was making was within dating, like in the same culture, a black man, even a black woman, like we're not dating men that we don't respect and value and can't boast about. Like, oh look, you always hear women, my man, my man, my man. You're not saying that about a man that you don't respect and value and look up to. So, I mean, status symbols, relationships, matters of the heart. It's a status symbol. It's a reflection of who you are. It should be a great representative of who you are out in the world, forward facing. Like that's just, it's a thing.
All right, go ahead, Cook.
I'm going to go back to the video. This is literally what I was talking about and got shut down for a minute ago. They're literally talking about what I was talking about. When they pull you up and they let you marry a snow bunny, that is a status symbol for a man. When it's vice versa and it's a white man and a black woman and they pull her up and know the value of this woman, it's a status thing. But that also goes back to our history. You saw how old that video was? Those people were in 70s clothes. This has been a topic for ages. What I'm telling you is most, let me not say all, women and most men, because we don't know the real value of ourselves as a community, reach out and think that marrying up is a thing. Marrying white is a thing. Now I'm all for love, and I don't care. But what I'm saying is the people that do care and go back and bash other races when they do marry outside of their own race, this is what they seek. And it's because they in general don't know who they are as a person. That's all I'm saying. That's all I was ever saying. So I agree with the video. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I got a question for you, Cookie, real quick. Who the fuck is they, and how do they let you marry them? Who the fuck are they?
So I think that what she's saying in this particular video was they. So it was a point where black people could not marry white people. You had to have permission. So there had to have something that had to be passed for black men to be able, because remember, not too long ago, you was getting lynched for it, just whistling.
Why are people acting like that didn't happen? Like, why am I having to
So when she says
because we're in 2024.
Because but that's still but that law is still,
Trump is about to be president again.
Right. So I think what she
I don't necessarily disagree with that.
Yeah,
so I think that y'all
Financially, I know I don't.
listen, look.
Right.
So I think when she's saying, when you're saying they, I mean, that is a law. I mean, there had to be a law passed saying that you have civil rights. So they allowed that law to be passed so that you can have,
y'all
the
still
right
living.
to marry.
Y'all still living.
I'm tired of sticking.
No, we're not
19
still. So let's just be this conversation. Let me just say this real fast. Give me 2 seconds, Cookie. You have had more as a black person. You have had more years as enslaved and being segregated than being a free man.
I've been a free man all my life.
What I'm saying is you, as in not just you. Obviously, I'm not talking about you. Think outside.
Right, but
when I say you,
right,
I'm just saying as black, and this goes true for me as well. Okay, so again, and I'm gonna tell you, like I said it before, I feel like history has a way of repeating itself. If you know history, how it does. Okay, so I want us to be conscious of the fact that yes, this happened in 1964, or not. Yes, 1964, but that's my grandmother's generation. That's not. These people are still alive.
I
It's
get
not like
that.
it's so. So what I'm saying to you is, it's not so far fetched that you. And remember, the video is what said that came from. That was in the 70s, right after 19. It wasn't that far after 1960.
Okay,
So what I'm saying to you is, when laws are passed, when the they is the lawmakers, okay, and the they still exist today. The theys are the reason why there are laws that are going on today that we may not necessarily agree about. The they are just people in general who make things. When you talk about child support and there's rights of men, now those are the days. Okay, so there are still things that go on that they are allowing to go on because they have the power. Does that make sense?
That's fine.
I'm gonna say
All
one.
I'm
Go ahead.
saying,
I
all
need
I'm
to say
saying
one thing and
is,
exit.
wait, let me finish because I'll let you talk. And let me just go real quick. So I understand all of that, right? We just got out of experiencing all of these terrible things, the civil rights, the oppression, slavery. I get all of that. All that I can go off of, and maybe this is just my mentality as a man, but all that I can go off of is that I was born free. What happened before me. All that I can do now is live in this current reality as to where if what they were talking about in general, absolutely, you dating anything outside of your race essentially is a status symbol. You know what I'm saying? Period. Whatever it is, who or whatever it is that you have on your shoulder as a man or woman, that is a status. You know what I'm saying? So the conversation, it may be valid, but it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of who it is that you choose to be a spouse with, be it black, white, Mexican, Hawaiian, whatever, it's the status symbol.
Oh,
So,
I get it. I was talking about the day you were saying the day. That's the only reason I did that.
right.
And
So
I think
even
that
when Hink saying that, who is, well, no, AP said who is they,
AP.
oh,
right? That in 2024 there is no they
it
unless
is a they.
Are you serious?
So let me just tell you
Absolutely.
how much of
I'm
a
in
they
Texas.
is.
I'm in
And
Texas.
correct me
This
if I'm
may be
wrong.
the
Correct
most
me.
interracial
Give
state.
me a second. Let me tell you how big
Shan,
of a
let him
they.
finish. Let him finish his thought. Let him finish his thought.
Because I was talking and he
I'm
came back through. I
I'm
was
I'm
talking first. Stop.
go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
So my point in when I was talking about the they, what I'm saying is I think that, and this is about laws, and I'm not mistaken because mistaken, I know that's your background as well. There are certain laws like voting acts that we still have to vote on to keep it going, right? Isn't it the vote? It's one of those acts that has to, after so many years, still has to be voted on. It's not civil rights, or is the voting act, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? Can you look that up for me?
They did just
Yes.
Right. So it's not even a definite a right of yours. They have to keep voting to make it a right of yours. You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? So yes,
Okay.
while it is available now because they voted on it, just like it has to be voted on, we can have a group of people who's like, we don't want it to be voted in no more. You understand what I'm saying? So it's important to know the laws and how the laws can work for you and how they can work against you, and just how they're set up. So why is there even a deadline on it in the first place?
We can get into politics and voting and all that other stuff. That's a whole, I feel like that's just a whole different
Well, that was
conversation.
the whole point of me saying
No,
today.
it's not.
It
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 is.
is
they
because
was,
I don't
sir.
it is because I personally don't agree, and just from what I can see, if you're scared that Trump would be in office, uh,
No, we didn't say it has nothing to do with Trump. I was just telling you that this is one law that has to like over the years has to continuously be voted on. It has nothing
right.
to do with Trump.
Okay.
I'm
No,
not
but
scared
he's
of
talking about what Cookie
anything.
said, because the question was for Cookie. Shan, you just so happened to jump in and answer the question.
I
Right.
have two, maybe three
Damn,
points,
see.
depending on where my brain goes. The first
Yeah.
point, you fucking
Okay.
you know what?
You can
Let me
wrap up in a
stop.
few.
Jesus Christ.
People in the chat, it takes what a president does in office to come to fruition at least 3 to 4 years after they leave. The reason you felt like you were
That's
in
not
a state.
100% true.
Stop.
That's not 100% accurate. That's the fucking
Stop
problem.
cutting me
That
off.
isn't true.
Like that
Stop cutting me
isn't
off.
entirely
I
accurate
do
though.
this
Like
for a
if we're gonna
living.
spread stuff, let's spread truth.
But
But
let
you
her
can't
finish
her
though.
thought, and
Yeah,
then
let
you
her finish though.
respond
And
to
then
what
you
she's
can go look
saying
the
after
shit
she
up.
finishes her thought.
It takes 3 to 4 years for any appointed officer as president and executive for anything that they do to come into fruition. The prices that we are paying right now are because of the boy that y'all fixing to put back into office.
That's absolutely
That
not
is
true.
not. Stop
Let her
cutting me off.
finish. Let her finish.
I
Let her
know
finish.
how politics work. My dad was in politics.
She's way wrong, but that's okay.
Okay, you can tell me I'm wrong all you want, sir. I don't even know you. Second
That's
of
great.
all,
I'm glad we
debate
don't.
is okay. You're fine. I said that's fine.
Because
So shut
you're
up,
spreading
please.
propaganda and bullshit. Because
No,
the truth of the matter is, the truth of the matter
Let
is,
her finish.
what
Let her
happened.
finish
You're
though,
right.
bro.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
My
let her finish.
apologies. My apologies.
Everybody
These
Go
are
ahead,
mute
Cookie.
their mics.
facts. These
Go ahead,
are
Cookie.
debatable. You can look this up. This is in the Library of Congress. Go look and stop assuming that I don't know what I'm talking about. I go look at stuff like this. Secondly, the they ain't never going away until we make it go away. Talking about who is they? What you mean, who is they? The same people that's kneeling on necks, the same people that's shooting people in their house, the same people. What are you talking about? Who is they? Now I don't care about who anybody loves, but y'all sitting on the panel acting like ain't no they and we don't know what you're talking about. I'm living in 2024. Y'all can be, that's called delusion. And y'all be the first ones to call women delusional, some men. And
Matter
here
of fact,
y'all are being some delusional ass men on this panel.
All
So
right,
I'm
can
gonna
I?
exit stage left.
I'm waiting on
I'm
Why?
her to finish.
Why you
exiting,
gotta
Shan.
exit?
Thank you for inviting me. I don't want to shit
Why
up. I
you
don't
gotta
argue with
exit?
ignorant people.
Let me mic drop and be all the way wrong.
no.
Actually,
So I understand. I understand. Oh, go ahead. Because I know you had something to say.
Well,
Go ahead.
okay. So first,
All the
the first thing that happens. Oh, hold on. I just want to cover what the hell she was talking about. The first thing that actually for the executive branch, they set tons of EOs when they first take office, which happen pretty much immediately as long as Congress doesn't vote. They have to actually vote to cancel an executive order. That's what an
exactly,
EO is.
exactly,
So, what Trump
exactly.
and Obama did, both of them, what they did was they set tons of EOs that we saw immediately, which is why things spiked when Obama took office early. Now I think Congress, he got with Congress. Hold on, I'm getting there. He got with Congress. They got some things shaped out, which I'm glad they did. However, when Trump took office after Obama's 8 years, the reason why we saw everything go down immediately and we saw immediate job growth was because of executive orders. Now, when he put a couple things in place, in my opinion, that was good for black people. You can play with the semantics of it. What happened when Biden took office, which is why we saw an immediate decline, is he actually wrote out every single one of those executive orders. What she is referencing in regards to the 3-4 years later is when Congress actually puts bills in place that actually have certain allotted times when they start, and then goes back to what Shan was talking about. There are laws there are actually civil laws that have to be voted on every 3 to
And I
6
can't
years,
remember which
depending
ones
on the
also.
law.
Right. So I can't
There's
remember.
several of them. So if we're gonna talk, we need to talk in facts and not in this bullshit la la land
Yeah,
that Miss
man.
Cookie was
Yeah,
talking about. She was completely off.
yeah,
Completely off.
and that's why I didn't want to get into that conversation because people like that, and clearly, just with her leaving, shows her ability to just have a conversation with someone. The Once she kind of started going in that route, it was like, okay, I already know what type of time that's gonna be. But what she was saying was true. But like AP just said, there's more to it than just that surface level shit. You know what I'm saying? In which is propaganda. That's literally propaganda when you do that. And that's why we as Black people voting in general and just our mindsets, that's why we're in a lose-lose, because people are putting out propaganda information just like this and just sending everybody off.
No. So
We
I
just
just
had a
wanted
we
to.
just had a hate we just had a hate crime bill just passed under Biden. Probably his first half year. A Asian hate crime bill passed immediately. It didn't take no time. It wasn't no long at it. It wasn't. So that's completely not true. Certain things are passed immediately, whether we want to believe them or not. And that was one of them. I remember because Mitch McConnell, who has an Asian woman, was part of that. His wife was a part of that bill to get that passed through.
Because that's when a lot of hate crime was happening towards Asians over the COVID thing.
So I wanted to clarify, because I don't know which law is which, but I do know that some are temporary and some are permanent. Okay, I just want to clarify that. But what I'm saying is the fact that we even have to have laws put in place, whether it be for Black men, Haitian men, any type of laws that are put into place, lets you know that it's funny acting out here. It's funny. You feel what I'm saying?
That's true.
So if we're still saying that you can't even get pulled over by a police officer without knowing what's going to happen, that's the problem.
I don't live like that.
I know you don't, but so I'm not asking you to, and nor do I, because I've never been in that situation before. But I also can't ignore the fact that it has happened, right?
Most women
I hear what you're saying.
And I understand that it's not in big enough. So look, I'm not telling you because I don't live like. So please recognize what I'm saying. I don't live like that either.
I'm just addressing that narrative because that's a narrative. So the only way that we can stop that is by stopping that narrative. You know what I'm saying? By telling, in my opinion, this is my opinion. Now I don't know about you guys as women, but I was in the shit. You know what I'm saying? At one point, right? There was a point where if the police was behind me, I'm nervous. You know what I'm saying? I'm whatever, seatbelt, whatever, right? But I was in the shit. Now that I'm not in the shit and I got everything in order, when the police pull up behind me, what's up, officer? How you doing? It's a conversation. What we're seeing now on a mass scale for years is that when Black men get pulled over, they clam up, they start panicking, and by them panicking, the officer panics, and by the officer panicking, now the situation escalates. If everybody is cool, calm, collected, we stop this whole, the police pull you over, he gonna kneel on your neck. That's not an everyday situation. If you just do it, if you just carry yourself in a certain manner, make sure you straight while you driving. No, hear me out. If you carry yourself in a certain manner, you know what I'm saying? You handle the situation as you should in order to make it home, regardless if it is a racist area, whatever. If we are aware of that, why would we not teach self-preservation in order to go to court if I got to?
So I hear what you're saying, but I wish you would have that same sentiment when we just told you how to change other things. So I understand that that's not the narrative, right? That's not the narrative as it relates to. But no, but when we talk about anything, it ain't the narrative, right?
I agreed with you in the sense of men not giving that attention to them, right? But that's almost a different situation because men.
But it's the same thing. It's still a narrative. It's a
narrative. I agree. But my point is that the men that aren't that aren't looking for that as a wifey material to date, whatever the case may be, they're not playing into that. So I agree with what you were saying, But that's is different though.
I understand, but it's still a narrative. So it's, you know.
I
But go
feel
ahead,
you.
Ms. Aiken.
I just wanted to say, okay, when we look at statistically overall, the amount of people that police interact with on a daily basis, we can say statistically that most of them don't end up in a
Absolutely.
violent situation, right?
It's very rare.
Right. But when we're pulling out the segment, that's what we're looking at, the statistics of when those violent interactions occur, or interactions where somebody gets shot or something like that. That's the group that we're focusing on. So when we look at the statistics of that, like, even though you say, you know, you can't, we need to stop the narrative of kneeling on the neck and all of that. Just because you stop the narrative doesn't mean that that's the reality of experiences that a lot of African Americans go through. And I'm gonna say specifically, I grew up in the era from New York, where that stop and frisk was the law. And how
it is the law for some other state, but not just, but it's not Black, it's for somebody else.
Well, no, the majority of those who were getting stopped and frisked were brown and Black people in New York. And a lot of times that's going to occur because a lot of the policing occur in Black and brown communities, right? Or in poor, areas. And that's not to say because statistically crime increases where there's poverty, right?
Absolutely.
So we got to look at all of those things. But even when you take it out of an area of poverty and crime, and we're still looking at that subgroup, the likelihood of the interaction between somebody Black and and the police will end up not as the outcome, not the same as other of our white counterparts. So all I'm trying to say is that a lot of times what we do is we'll say, well, we just need to stop pushing that narrative. And I do agree to some extent. However, when we ignore that these things are happening, it allows it to continue to happen. So sometimes it has to be pushed towards the forefront so enough attention can be brought to it. So then that can be the topic of discussion. So that way we can address what that issue is.
And let me give you something
let's
that is. Let me just 2 seconds, Mark.
No, wait
give
a
me 2 seconds.
Can I please get in there? Because I just been
Yes, Judge, but I want him to understand. So let's take police out of the situation. Let's just talk about in the job place. Black men aren't getting paid the same thing as maybe the whites. So they have control over a lot of things. A lot of times they are, but are we going to sit here and say we saw the numbers in our show maybe 2 weeks ago? We're not even getting paid doing the same jobs as they're getting paid. You know what I'm saying? It's unfair, and we could be doing the same exact job. But because you're Black, you're not getting the same pay as them. We saw that just on our show maybe 2 weeks ago. Everybody's sleeping. Oh gosh. I need y'all to be a little bit more like this is.
Let's talk about y'all talk about. Look, women are not dealing with Black women are not dealing with it. Black women are not dealing with those issues. Those are Black men issues.
Absolutely.
Dealing with brutality and assault and effect. You're not. I didn't have to teach my daughter how to deal with a disgruntled cop because most of the time they're not disgruntled with the women.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time it's the opposite way around. Women get irate and silly with the cop just because they feel like I'm a woman, I could do that, and he's not going to do anything because I'm a woman. But I had to teach my son something differently. Like AP got his hood on now. I had to teach my son, don't be having your hood on while you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a bunch of dudes in your car while you're driving. Why do you need all these dudes?
You look suspicious.
I have to teach these things to our sons. I was told that to me by my uncle, my grandfather. Why? Because as men, we deal with these issues. We have to worry about this. We're the ones scared. We're the ones to get our blood pressures higher and we get nervous and worry about, are we going to get pulled over? Is he going to profile us and all that? Those are men problems that they're dealing with. These are not women. Women don't have these problems for the most part. I'm not saying they don't at all, but for the most part, I have to deal with that. Shane, you could ride right beside me and be speeding 20 miles an hour. Guess who's going to pull over? And I was just going 5 over. He going to pull my Black ass over.
That's true.
He gonna harass me. He gonna shake me down.
That's true.
You gonna pull you over. You ain't got your license. Oh, I left it at home in my other purse. Me, I better not say some shit like that. All of a sudden, I'm walking away in handcuffs off a violation because I didn't have. You could have just gave me a ticket and then put in court. No. That's not what he gonna do to me. He gonna run me in, get my car towed, and all that. He gonna let slide. He said, "Ma'am, go home and get your license so you can have it, so this won't happen to you again." These are black men problems. We have to worry about these type of things. So when we do these things and we teach these things, we have to teach our sons. And I understand what he's talking about. My man Viz talking about that scarcity mindset. I also teach my son, hey, look, adult, not every white person bad like this. I know there's a few bad police officers out there. I understand that. But not every one of them are like that. Mm-hmm. So they ain't how we should move or operate.
Exactly.
So just real quick, for clarity, when I said who are the they she was talking about, in context, she said they allow us to marry them. Who is the they in that? The person's parents? Who is the they?
Right.
So that was the context in which I was speaking. I, of course, and I'm on the record on Chic Critique by understanding the history and what some of the things that we have to overcome. I'm very clear on my position on some of those things. But when you say something like, when they let you marry or let you date one of them, in 2024, you don't, in the United States, you currently don't have them types of problems. In 1970, 71, 72, you did have those types of problems. You don't have those types of problems in 2024. Now, if you go choose to marry a snow bunny, that's on you. Go be happy. Go take care of that milk and magnesia. None of my business. I'm not cock watching. Don't care. But at the same time, it's not a they letting us in respects to that particular part of the conversation.
So just to answer, so when you say that AP, while we're talking about white, there are some cultures that are like that, right? There are some cultures that may not be open to their daughters marrying a black man or vice versa. So they do exist. They may not exist in America, but that problem is still there. We would not agree?
I will agree. And I actually know somebody personally whose Indian daughter married one of my buddies, and she has been basically removed from the family for doing it. So, and that happened here in America. But again, that goes back to what I said. You mean the parents, the family? Because that's where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
It's kind of funny.
It can be that, but when you
full circle, because that other video before the one from the 70s, that's pretty much what he was talking about. How his family will rather him marry a white woman than an American black woman. That's
the other African one. Yep.
That's how certain individuals look at our people.
Well, I was going to say, to speak to what AP said, that they can mean what she was initially talking about when you move into a situation of socioeconomic status. I think that's the difference. The higher
that's
up,
true too.
Well, yeah, no. If it's a black guy trying to marry Taylor Swift, hell yeah, the powers that be, they're gonna be like, wait a second, does this make sense? Are we thumbs up for this? Woo, woo, woo. Absolutely. If it's somebody at that tier, then of course. But that's going to be in anything that's structured.
The way I would look at that is, I think, depending on the guy, they're not going to go after the guy. They're going to target the other. They would target Taylor Swift, for example. I don't think that they would, when we say they, the target would be more or less, Taylor, you're not allowed to.
Right.
Not
right.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the they. But you know what I'm saying? She's at a point in the she's at a point in the social structure as to where what she does, how she's presented, you know what I'm saying, that all matters, and that's not all her own decision.
Man, how they get Taylor Swift and we get Sexy Red? Damn it! Ain't that some shit?
Well, we got other people. Taylor Swift is like Beyonce.
I blame this on Shan and her sorority sisters.
Leave my. We're not gonna do that. No, so we're not gonna do that. Absolutely not.
I thought she was AKA.
406. It's 406.
I thought she was AKA though, Shan.
Why are you putting my business out there like that? And we talking about stuff like this. Anyway.
Yeah, there's a super chat I want to address when we get to it, because he makes a point and he's a little off. Our memories are bad. When it comes to politics, our memories are really, really bad. Oh.
I think Shane had a brain freeze.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do these super chats. What was the question? I was doing. Look, my attention span. What's it been? 2 hours and 46 minutes. So let's do these super chats real fast, okay?
Okay. Akine, $2. These ladies just lied about what they said about black men. I don't know. I don't know.
Come on, man. Another $3 you can give us context.
Right. I have no idea. What Kenneth Percival, $5. WTH are you talking about, Cookie? White men want black women to fulfill a fetish. Black men are not putting up with not being respected. Stop it. The lies we tell ourselves. Enter Black Dragon. Again, I don't find black women. I'll explain what I'm saying after we finish. Enter Black Dragon, $5. Again, I don't find black women disrespecting white men in their YouTube channels. At work, music, combos is not just my experience. You go where you respect it and trust it.
That's fair.
Arnold Allen III, $5. If she is showing her body on IG, is it the man's fault for following social cues? IG and OF girls are OnlyFans. Okay, I didn't. Girls are not getting married. They get what they want. Into the Black Dragon, $2. How about you just respect all black men? Try that.
Shit, I don't even.
That was loving decision. White men marrying black women. Well, it was just interracial marriages in general. But yeah. Advanced perception, $2. Love who you love, but don't ish on your own race.
I 100% agree.
I agree with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth Percival. We watching the cookie crumble. Shit. Okay. You
thought that was she?
I said, oh, she. All right, let me read that. Oh, she. We watching the cookie crumble. Okay. Kenneth Percival, $2. Vince Point AP, y'all getting that HR email shortly.
Getting silly.
One Titans. Biden stopped the Keystone Pipeline
with a stroke of the pen,
and gas spiked up.
All right, here we go.
But see, the executive orders don't hold weight after that president leaves for the most part.
That's a fact.
Part of the problem. Michael Richardson, $5. Trump is a traitor and I'm a military man and I don't want that man in office. January 6th, all I will say. AP, you and the Viz are delusional.
Okay, so hey, I just want to touch real quick. You can enjoy the propaganda.
If you don't know to vote for Biden, then you're not black.
Facts, right? But the propaganda surrounding January 6th, I'm not going to jump into too much. But I'm just trying to figure out who's the one that blocked the VA benefits, the additional funding for the VA benefits. Was that Trump or was that the Democrat House at the time? Don't worry, I'll wait. Enjoy it, Mister former military.
Michael Richardson, $5. They're trying to cover up history so history can't repeat itself. You have no opinion.
No context.
And that's true. John the Baptist, $5. Blacks need to stop listening at feelings and look at the facts. Legally, we have no issues with race.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Legally, that's a fact.
Right. In the books, yeah, it's written, but the way that it's played out is totally different. So that's true. The Black Intellectual, $4.99. Black women will never accept a Black man who acts like the white men they want.
Whew. Well, we ain't got to unpack that. Let that marinate.
Well, I think that's the same thing as accepting a white man who acts Black. Like nobody wants that either.
And let's let that marinate for a little bit. Let's let that marinate for a little bit.
Like, do you
and I think that
act Black?
But I think that's what Vic was talking about earlier when he said lane. This right here.
See,
and then somebody else try to give us a whole definition of lane that had nowhere near what lane was.
Had nothing to do with it.
Vic, I know. I was leading you there. I was leading you there because I agreed with you.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, no.
All right, go ahead, play the next one.
It's crazy
because there's so much that can go into that, but I'm gonna go ahead and.
That's a fact. That's true. That's true.
Zamail Jackson, $4.99.
That's crazy.
Is who gave us Sexy Red, and them Taylor Swift get the with that BS. You are all mentally slow. Go back to government class. Tired of y'all.
There are so many Black artists, Black women artists that are so much more talented, surpassing Sexy Red in every sense, and it's not getting the same exposure, and the agenda can only work if we feed into it. Listen to what I just said.
But didn't Shan say that?
There is an agenda. The agenda can only work if we feed into it, if that's what we want. So if we want a Sexy Red, then that's a problem with us, because we have other artists that we can put that same energy into. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? They can do whatever the fuck they want to, but if we don't accept it, then that won't be a thing. That's why we have so many artists in the neo soul branch of music that gives a beautiful that creates beautiful music that's empowering women, love, couples, Black love, etc. But they not getting the same thing because motherfuckers want to see Sexy Red. They want to see this ratchet shit. That's a whole era that the Black culture embraced.
But that's what I think her point is. Because when the question was asked, who's they? So what she's doing is explaining that they is the same people who gave us Sexy Red and gave the others the Taylor Swift. That's what she's saying, is that the propaganda or the promotion of the Black women and Black men as all Black men in the music is thugs and gotta be a part of the gang or whatever, a gang, or have some kind of background in which they got locked up, and that's glorified.
But that's
in terms of media. And then the Sexy Red's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be we're gonna be doing all of that stuff. So she's saying those are the they who promotes that. and put that out front versus the people that you're talking about, the other music that is out there. We have to look for, we have to look for it. It's just not pushed out there
it's not pushed out because it's not being sought out. That's the problem. It's a come on now. It's we are in
missing her point.
I'm not missing her point. I'm not missing her point because they allowed for Sexy Red and this other art, whatever other artist you want to use. They put them both out there. You know what I'm saying? And with the internet being what it is, YouTube being what it is, a lot of people will say, man, where did she come from? Where did she come from? She been doing music. If you just go on a page, it's easy to get on now.
But
the only way that
was she being sought out? She wasn't being sought out when she was on YouTube. She blew up when it became more like media push, media backing,
when
that
she was
everybody began to look to see who she was.
So
that's the difference.
And I get it, because before social media, this has already had start developing, right? And so what I'm trying to say is media is a very powerful tool. It's the same thing that got us out of the kitchen, right? I just saw a video and say, well, why don't people cook anymore? Media started saying, oh, at these dinners, like go to a restaurant, they start pushing it. Just like in the 50s, it was cool to be a housewife because they pushed it. Like, oh, Betty, you know, it was all you, what you saw on television, right?
Women don't want to be housewives no more.
So listen to what I'm saying. Over time, media has always played a big role in how persuading people to do certain things. We can't take that away from that, right?
For sure.
And so what has happened is you're playing, because people still have a love for R&B. If they didn't, they wouldn't be turning to old school R&B channels. You understand? But now there's a push to take away that and fill you with all this crap as if we don't still love R&B. We do still love R&B. Everybody does. We just have to get it from another place. But what Mistaken is saying is the powers that be said, okay, we're gonna push this kind of genre, we're gonna push this, you know. But you're right, I agree with you, and I say this all the time. We have the power to listen to it. We cannot feed into it by not listening to it. So that's our part. That's where we go wrong. Every time you go to a concert, every time you stream it and all these things, that's your vote to say this is what I want to listen to. So I agree.
But we'll boycott everything else, but we won't boycott Sexy Red. They like something has to click there. People literally was going to boycott Ivory when people saw a small clip of the commercial and twisted it. But we're okay. We're okay with Sexy Red, and then we blame it on the powers to be. That makes no sense. Mm-hmm. Like, how does that logically make sense? If we did not want that to be a part of our culture, we would ignore it. We will boycott it. You know, we'll stand in the street. We'll block traffic.
Well, that is a subculture. It would take us. So you're asking people.
But that's my point. That's my point.
You're asking people who listen to that music to boycott it. Obviously, if they're listening to it, they're okay with it.
That's my point.
That's a subculture, which is actually reflecting, which historically one of us represents the entire race. That's been historically so. So the idea of pushing Sexy Red or Gangsta, all of that in the forefront, it kind of indirectly say that all of us are okay with it, that this is what Black culture is. But we know in a major group of our culture that this is a subculture. So it is going to take us, instead of us being on these panels and we're talking about it, instead of, like you said, us who's of the part of the major part of the, Black culture, don't like the Sexy Red music and the gang because it's not representative for most of us. But what we do, instead of protesting or instead of boycotting or whatever, what we do is we just choose not to listen to it and then talk about it on panels like this about how they're the others and this is bad for the Black community without necessarily taking action to make any changes.
And real fast, I want us to point out the fact that this is just how strong media is, right? There are other countries, for example, China or Japan, they don't even have the same TikTok as us. They promote something totally different because they don't even want that bull crap. You know, I heard their TikTok was more educational, or, you know, so it does play a part in. But go ahead. No, but again, I don't take away what you're saying. We are part of the problem because we don't do anything about it. We allow it to happen to us.
I just want to interject real quick. Actually, I think both of y'all are spot on, because the truth of the matter is we consume this trash, and what Vic is talking about is, shit, why are we consuming it? We take the power away, stop consuming it. But on the other hand, when it's constantly thrown in your face, sometimes it becomes very difficult to ignore, which is how she becomes the topic of conversations. And I'm using her and that ilk, and I'm using her as representative of that ilk. Become topic of conversation here, and it's very similar to what Shan was talking about earlier about men. If we're gonna, it might have been Shan, I believe it was. If we call ourselves leaders, why don't we ignore the stuff that's thrown in front of us with the OF and and these Instagram influencers and models? Why don't we ignore that and attach ourselves to the more conservative people, even though it's constantly thrown in the face of men? So, like, both can be true. We just have to decide how much and how far we're willing to go.
So, just to be clear, media in every way, shape, and form throughout history has been extremely effective. I'm not taking that away in no sense whatsoever. But again, the fact is that the with that being so powerful that she's gotten to where she is, that means that there's a desire in our culture for that. Other cultures wouldn't even, man, what they wouldn't even allow that in any way. You know what I'm saying? But it's almost the norm, you know, for us. We see kids. There's a video of kids had to been 3, 4, 5 years old, and they singing hands on their knees. And who took this video? Who posted? Who's laughing at it? We are. That's what we as a culture want. That don't have shit to do with the powers, the white people. You cannot blame that on them, because if I can watch that and be disgusted, and you watching and you laughing at it, there's a problem with you. You know what I'm saying? And your morals, our morals and integrity as a culture is, you know what I'm saying, out of there. And we can't blame that on the white people because we're making that conscious decision.
I agree, but there is always nuance to things, right? So if we look at historically,
go ahead.
If we look historically, we know that music media shapes culture, right? And it influences culture, right? So when you had like your Bob Marleys, things like the music from that era that was talking about unifying people and things like that, he did very well, but there was a consequence to that as well, right? So, or even in our era when we had a bigger genre of music to choose from when it came to hip hop, right, and rap, right? We had like Digital Underground. We had a bunch of conscious music. We had a bunch of music.
We have that now.
Like but comparing back to when I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, that music was pushed to the forefront. You'll more likely hear something from them or the Poor Righteous Teachers, things like that, as you would from the other more like LL, right? You're gonna those that genre of music was given the same airplay for the most part.
Right.
Whereas now that is definitely not the case. Hold on, that's definitely not the case. So you have to, if that is what you're into, you literally have to go look for it, right? Whereas for me, I, to be honest, really don't listen to it because the music today just isn't of interest to me. Like I can't even understand half of what they're saying. So I don't even really listen to it. However, there are sometimes like I don't listen to a Sexy Red, but when I happen to be in a car and my husband was playing the radio, you know what I'm saying? I heard it and I'm like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? So in that regard, I'm exposed to it without even being intentional. And then after a while hearing it so much, I found myself saying it. And I'm like, but even though I was making jokes about it, I was still saying it. So what I'm saying is there is some nuance to that because yes, we are responsible for the music and the media that we consume. However, with the way media works, even if you're not listening to it, it's going to find a way to come into your house, to come into your car, to come in, you know. So in other cultures, what Shan is saying is that wouldn't even be an option because that music wouldn't even be available to be pushed out.
So
just real quick,
go ahead, AP.
no, just real quick, mistaken. Check out some of this new underground neo soul music. It'll remind you of the 90s. Shit is dope.
That's what I said. I
Shit
have
is
to
dope.
speak it. That's my
It
point.
is dope. Dope
Right.
music is dope music. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No
But the thing
question.
about it, that this is the thing too.
But
I mean, I don't know how.
I'm bad. My bad. Let me just say this real quick. I worked in radio for like 2 or 3 years. Radio, their playlist is based off of what people want to hear. The radio stopped playing certain type of music because people did not want to hear it anymore. They you know what I'm saying? There's a demand. There has to be a demand in order for that song to be put on the radio. And then of course, you know, there's some record labels that'll pay them more to push it, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, just as I stated before, we can protest and do all of this other stuff. We can riot, loot, tear up cities, you know what I'm saying, our own communities. I'm just saying we do that. If we can do that on a grand scale, to do something as small as boycotting radio, you know what I'm saying? That could have swayed this whole movement that we're in now to what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's the demand for it. We just have to accept it, and we got to spot it.
So go ahead, He, because I know you haven't spoken. Go ahead.
So what I was gonna say is, I mean, same way, Shane, you were saying earlier, how if some of us men stop giving these certain women attention, they got to force to switch up. So, and the same thing as far as with music, same concept. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely agree, and for both of those, I absolutely agree. But I think that too. I think that you know, anybody here, and this is just my idea because y'all know how I feel about music. You know, we both. Anybody here didn't grow up in the 90s? I don't know if you're young, you didn't grow up in the 90s. That was something about 90s R&B, Black people. We were like a unit. It was like Black power. We were so strong. It was to the point where white people didn't just listen to your music. They really wanted to be like you, right?
Yeah.
You had little white kids. No. There's a difference between acting like you and wanting to be. They wouldn't trade. At that point, I think they probably would have traded places. But at this point, it's kind of like, it's cool to do Black things, but I'm still white. Okay. So, and I think that there was a power that came along with that. We had, you talked about loving each other. The music was a certain type of way. And I think it was just too powerful. I think it was just a little bit too, I don't know.
Anytime you find an underclass of a group, not even just underclass, you would say, just for the lack of a press group or group at the bottom that come together and unite, historically, you will always see that those in power are going to create a situation in which it breaks up that unity, period. Like this, that goes all the way back to the beginning of the foundation of America, when when poor whites and blacks got together, and the powers that be saw that, and then that's when you end up coming in with having this whole level of, even though you're poor, you're white, so you're better than blacks. Like doing these intentional things to create division and separation. So it makes you not focus on what the real issue is, right? So in anything, it's not just music, is music, is culture, is even men against women. This idea of creating separation works because you want to be on the winning side of it, as opposed, so you're focused on the winning side of things, as opposed to understanding that the issue is just bigger than you, right? So I personally think that it does start initially with what you choose to consume. That is a personal choice, and you have all of the responsibility in that, period. There is no, there's no wrong answer to that, right? Because you choose what you can consume. But I also think the other part of that is the availability of it in the first place, right?
And because we used to censor things. Like, why is that not
right? And that's what
happened to censoring things?
Back in the day, there was certain music, certain TV programs that couldn't even come on during prime time when kids were awake, things like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas now that is not the case. And to me, there's a reason behind that. You are able to control people the more you push what they're going to see, what they're going to hear, all of those things.
It keeps you in the inferior mindset.
Exactly. But so although we have the power to choose what we watch, that was the nuance that I was talking about, is that sometimes you're going to be exposed to things that you're not even trying to be exposed to. Your kids have cell phones. They got blocked. As a parent, you put all of these kind of blocks on them so you could keep them free from seeing certain things you don't want to. But there's always a way that information still leaks into their ability to access it. And that's the part that I'm talking about. So while we're fighting about the music, the bigger issue is the fact that stuff is even available. That's where the real issue is.
Right. So let me address this, and I'm going to address what they're saying in the comments too. They're bringing up Uncle Luke. Well, back in the day, they're bringing up Uncle Luke. Wait, let me just address it. So they're bringing up Uncle Luke in Doggy Style. Now, during that time, as you stated, the radio was extremely censored, even to the extent of where Uncle Luke took Congress to court to as free speech, so that his music can be on the radio. Well, no, I think they took him to court for it. White people were protesting about that. In order for
it wasn't just white people at that time with Uncle Luke.
Yeah, it was black people too.
Right. NWA. We protested NWA as well.
Right. So it's not like we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And again, addressing them, I think that the difference then was that it was censored. It wasn't just being played over the radio like it's nothing. Teachers weren't taking songs that's from Sexy Red and remixing it so that it's a school song.
That is crazy to me. I as a teacher, I do not agree. But so I absolutely get what you're saying. It has gone too far. But and I think the bigger picture too, and this is the part that gets me the most. Music is a universal language. there are people who've never met African Americans in their life because they've never been in America, and they think that we're these types of people, right? And so it's bigger than us. It's bigger than just the United States, because we can see other African Americans like that ain't us, you know, but they unfortunately don't get that same experience. So they can only go by what we do to ourselves. If you're in a music video or you're on the radio calling yourself a bitch, why? They're going to do the same thing because you're saying it about yourself, you know, or whatever other words that you're using. And that's the part that gets me. It's like, it's so much bigger than people. It's not just a song. It's not just a beat. It's way more than that. And as soon as we get that in our minds and understand that, yeah, you popping it and it make it sound good right now, it's just not doing good for, it's almost like that soda you keep drinking every day or that cigarette you keep smoking. It's not good for you. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's good for you. So that's all I gotta say, and I'm done with this situation. We're gonna wrap this thing up. Anybody else have any last words?
We're gonna finish the last couple super chats.
I was gonna say, did you get through
Oh
your
yeah,
super
no,
chat?
we did not. Thank you guys for keeping me, y'all.
Zamel Jackson, $4.99. Oh, we did that.
Zamel want to get us on this subject.
Yeah.
Right.
One Titans, $5. I bet the Chicago residents wish Trump was in office now that all those illegal immigrants been dumped on them.
Yeah,
got him.
Oh, y'all.
All right. Mel Jackson. I did just read some stats about that whole thing. Mel Jackson, $4.99. Stop being weak and talking about people not on the panel anymore.
Shit, you rage quit. It's on.
Who's talking about? Yeah, don't. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a few, but you rage quit. It's a wrap. I got your ass.
$1.99. Just like the men that choose the strip club, huh?
That's a valid point.
What she's saying,
yeah.
That was a valid point.
Ikine, $2. What you listen to is your choice. Change channel.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's saying change the channel because we can vote. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's still going to affect you if they keep, you know, if it's not just you, it's other people.
Yeah, he's saying turn it off.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And understanding, even if we're not consuming it, from my understanding now, I didn't look at this stat, so y'all can correct me, is that the major consumer of rap music are white male, like white people. So even
but they don't, if we stop, that ain't gonna move.
What I'm saying is we're the face of it. But in terms of when we're saying, oh, who's putting the money behind it? Where are the numbers coming from? This is what people are consuming. This is what they want. If we're not the majority that's actually putting the money behind it, then even if we're in the face of saying we're going to boycott it, is that really going to stop it?
If boycotting would also mean stop rapping it too. Like, you need to stop putting the music.
And that's my point. Those who are making money from it isn't going to stop because that's their bread and butter, right? That's how
we consider them sellouts. Remember how back in the day you used to be called a sellout
if they have a standard, they would. If you have certain standards, you would stand on your standard.
Standard is money. That's capitalism for you.
And guess what? They don't have no real standard then. That's not a real standard then. They don't have if money is their standard, they don't have a real standard then.
Yeah.
Right. You're talking about a moral standard, right? It's about what we value. In America, let's be honest, when compared to money is power. So the value system in regards to that is going to be about money. And as of now, we would say there's still a moral obligation that you should have, but a lot of people do not. They don't consider themselves they're not going to give up the opportunity to make money, create generational wealth.
What is that saying about us, though? What is that saying about us?
And that's not just Black people. That's
I don't give a shit about them though. We talk about us though.
Right, but what I'm saying is what we're
talking about us. So what is that saying about us as a people?
Hold on, Hank. I didn't finish. What I'm saying is, in the mindset of capitalism, profit is always above people. So when you're asking now, as an individual person, your values may be different, but what I'm talking about is a collective, as an American society. When we look at it, the food that we eat, we know that this food is killing us, but yet America allows chemicals, certain things like the pesticides, all of these things that gets in our food that we eat and consume, and we know that it has a detrimental impact on our bodies. We allow it for profit. However, these same companies are making these same things where those chemicals have been banned and outlawed in other countries, and they're shipping that food that's chemical free to those countries because they can't control what happens there, but they want the profit, so they're going to do what they say. Here, we don't have control of that. So my point is this:
we do.
We do. So this is the thing.
So, and that's what I was saying. What I was saying. We are that.
Please let me finish my thought.
Can we go faster though? Because I'm really tired.
Finish.
Okay, go ahead.
So my point is that there is a limited impact that we can have because money rules everything. There, you have people who are right now that is about the about like I forgot the group recycling, all of that, looking at the impact that we're having on the world. You see such a financial pushback to create change in that because of money. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
So, what is that saying about us as a people, though?
Yeah, sometimes
we're fucked up. That's exactly what it's saying. We are. We're effed up as a people.
So why are we blaming them?
You talking about we as a people, but you got certain people in the small head community. They won't have no business with us. They won't let you come in their community and do what you want for the bottom dollar. And we could be bringing twice as much money as their own people doing. But guess what they won't do? They'll shut that down. They rather be without than accept your money if you're not about them.
And let me just say this too.
Just situations like that. So we need to have a standard that we stand on, but we don't. We'll sell our soul for the bottom dollar.
But this is the thing.
About we don't have a choice. We do have a choice on what we eat. We don't have to eat their products. We could grow our own. We could raise our own. We could go get all natural food. We don't have to get the ones that was chemically based. We don't have to do that. We choose to. For whatever reason, we choose to, but we don't have to. We have that option, just like everybody else does.
Hey, Hank.
And let's just be honest, real fast.
I'm gonna say one thing real quick. Hank, they told us that the hamburgers at McDonald's was not real meat. This is pink slime. Decades ago.
And guess what?
And guess what? People still eat it willingly.
We know
it's a choice to drive past that motherfucker.
Yet we still play the game.
So this is the thing.
If the rules are against us, why do we still play the game?
It don't even make sense.
Adjust and adapt.
So this is the thing. Yo, a second. So I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, if all Black people said that something's not, first of all, let's get something straight. Black people are trendsetters, okay? It won't even be popping unless we say it's popping, first and foremost. So if we all as a collective, I don't care if white people, they won't even think it's cool no more. We don't even like it. They won't even think it's cool no more. So let's just be real about the situation. Let me just stop with that. I think that if we've got together as a group and we stop giving money to attention to this as a group, they're going to take a heavy hit. They're going to take a heavy hit. It'll be just like, country music does a great job on its own. Let it be like that small genre that's fine, and they can just get, but it won't be pop culture like pop unless we're involved in it. Let's just be very clear. So even if we just moved away, that would make a significant difference.
But we have to do it, and we have to stop blaming everybody else for it. It's that simple.
That was what I was getting at. Do we have the power to do it in terms of individual coming together with like minds and making it a point to make change? Yes, we absolutely do. Where I'm saying the issue comes in is that we won't get together as a collective, because who's ever benefiting within the subgroup,
That has
they're
nothing to
not
do
going
with it.
they're not going to change, right? So what I'm trying to say is, in what way, instead of talking about it, a lot of time I think this is where we have the biggest issue, is that we
Be
can
about it.
out the problems, we keep talking about it, but at the end of the day, we don't change behavior. We have enough money. Like right now, the reason we're the weakest in terms of being able to push a change or push the kind of narrative that we want is because what creates change is money, right? Now, as a community, we have a lot of money within our community to push that change. Looking at the amount that we spend more than out of any other race or ethnic group, Black American, they spend most of their wealth, right? So the fact that we have power in terms of money, the problem is we don't use that power in the right way in regards to our money. And until we do that, we're going to continue to get what we have. That's the bottom line. We're going to continue to get what we have because nobody wants to make the changes. Nobody wants to make the sacrifices. So if you do it on a small scale, it's not going to create the same amount of change. If you look at the civil rights era, the bus boycott, that created change because most of us were the ones that used the bus, and that was where the money was.
Yeah, but that started on a small scale, though. Mistaken. That wasn't a big collective when it first came through. It was a small scale thing. It was a small scale decision just in one state. That's where it started. It didn't start off like we all came to group like we're gonna do it. No, there was some of us Black people were still riding the bus, even though they said not to. It was a small scale thing. It just turned into something big. But you got to start somewhere, and if that means individual, that means if that starts in your own household, not allow your kids to listen to certain music, then it starts there. And guess what? Influence your nephews, your nieces, and your extended family. Talk to your co-workers about it, and pour that message into them. That's how the message spreads. But you got to be willing to do it. We can't keep on saying, "Well, it's on a small scale. Ain't nobody gonna do it. Just my family ain't gonna make a big change." Well, it's gonna have to happen. Somebody got to get the ball rolling.
I agree. Just like for me, when I look at the Black Lives Matter movement, and I'm not saying that wasn't important. That was an important movement, but how come we as a group of people don't organize in that same fashion about things like this that we're talking about? Why aren't we organizing in fashion about the way that we're depicted in media or the kind of music that is allowed to be played? We're not.
I think you said it earlier, though, because there's the financial benefits that they're getting from it. People got a price tag on them. You said it, Mistaken. People got a price. They're not willing to make that financial sacrifice in order to do certain things.
All right, I guess
yes, I was listening.
No, we have 3. Let's read the last few super chats and then we could go.
Okay.
Zamal Jackson, 199. You weak, sir. I'm trying to educate. Y'all weird. Miss Jackson.
$3 she could give context.
They can't stop raping. They're owned by
the days.
Oh, okay. Oh, I said raping. I meant rapping. They can't stop rapping. They're owned by the they. Okay.
Goes back to Hink's point.
Kelvin Cook, $5. Wake up. They're using your energy to stay alive. Money is energy as well as fear.
You guys, thank you. Is there another one? Oh, we already did that.
I think that's
okay.
it.
So I already did that. Sorry, y'all. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us this great Sunday. I'm sure JR will be back next Sunday. He'll probably never leave me in charge again, but that's okay.
No, you did all right today. You did all right today, Shan.
You can check most of us out on Friday nights on a Chic Critique. And what night do you do the basement, Hink?
Mondays and Wednesdays.
Mondays
7
and
p.m.
Wednesdays,
Eastern,
you can
6
check
p.m. Central.
Pink out at the basement. All right, you guys. See you later.